any good acting has behavior with it.
Nate, why? Why such bitterness? What have I done to you? Get out! You're no nephew of mine. As far as I'm concerned, you're as dead as that wretch Cermak.
You have to embellish the words with a certain amount of gravity. Because we're talking about things that are really important here that are kind of secret. There's a natural kind of darkness when you talk about Noir. You know, it's great. I love it.
Well, greetings, Imagination connoisseurs. Laser Bob coming at you from 1987. Welcome to this episode of Let's Get Physical Media. I'm so happy I didn't try and sing it. I don't think I could have made it. This is like episode, 239. Maybe one day I should check. But you know what? It really doesn't matter how many episodes there are of this show, because there's only one thing that matters. And it matters greatly, especially in these troubled times. You have to bring somebody that you love, that you respect, a friend. Somebody whose smiling face will always make your smiling face actually smile. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you know what? You know who does know what I'm saying? All the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, it is Mr. DIETER Bastian.
Well, thanks for the intro again, Rob. And as my neighbor says, Altmetall in the chat, summer is here and I'm already sweating bullets, but the show must go on. And I say, greetings, Imagination connoisseurs. DIETER here. Here I am, Rock You Like Again. Welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where we have a lot of stuff to show and to talk about. Perhaps Rob will lose his respect for me at some point during the show. Who knows? We'll see about that. But Rob, I was a little bit pissed at first because you had a observation planned to do. Then you said no, people wanted to see the movie first for themselves. And I was thinking, why is Rob even doing a observation about, of course, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I have seen Wednesday, Rob, because the movie has already opened here in Germany on Wednesday. And I don't talk about midnight screening, but a full day ahead of normal scheduling. So it was opening on Wednesday, and I was at one of the first showings, actually, of the movie. And I myself, I'm a big fan of the show. Even the third season, I wasn't too big humping on it as other people. I was fine with the third. And if the movie was like the TV show, I would say, okay, this is a little bit bigger. It would be fine for me. And at first, the first 15 minutes, I thought, not bad. And I know exactly, Rob, why they showed that first 15 minutes at CinemaCon. Because they are the best 15 minutes of the movie, actually. And I first thought it had a little bit like a 007 vibe. Okay, we have a little bit of an action scene. Sigourney Weaver is playing like an M-type. He's getting his new mission. Okay, let's see where we go. And then I'm starting, Rob, a little bit to drift off, hard to keep my attention. And unfortunately, Rob, for me, The Mandalorian and Grogu is not even worth discussing. What a flatline of a movie, even for me, who actually loves the show and even has a hard drive figure of the great Mando. It was as monotone as the Pedro Pascal delivering his lines of the movie.
If you could call it that.
And
line delivery is being nice.
Yeah. And the only thing, Rob, because people wanted you to postpone your observation so they had the chance to see the movie. But the only thing you can spoil from The Mandalorian Grogu is the cameo of Dave Filoni, even with his cowboy hat. That's the only thing that you can actually spoil.
Come on, what about everybody's favorite action figure, a Man from the Return of the Jedi collection? No,
Rob, your little take.
I thought The Mandalorian and Grogu was a truly wretched film. And it, to me, I like to equate what has happened to all. Forget all the conversations about identity politics and DEI, but The Mandalorian and Grogu is an example of what I'm now calling the creative cul-de-sac that all of our IPs find themselves in, and they can't get out. You're just spinning around in a circle. And The Mandalorian and Grogu is so far removed from what the original Star Wars is. If you go back to first principles, and I always have to go back to the original, Star Wars, which was a truly transcendent motion picture that changed the perception of what we could see on screen. There had never been anything remotely similar to that on a movie screen up until May 25th, 1977. And The Mandalorian and Grogu represents everything wrong that has been distilled from Star Wars collectively over the last 49 years. And you know what? You know what I realized? The thing first and foremost about Star Wars is it's about people. All of us could see ourselves, boys or girls, we're young, old, we all could see ourselves in Luke, Han, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and maybe to a certain extent, Princess Leia. Star Wars now doesn't even have real people in it. The Mandalorian isn't a real person.
Movie.
You have Sigourney Weaver, who literally only exists to come and deliver a few lines. She has no character. She has no agency. There's nothing she actually wants. I watched that movie and I thought to myself, where's the characters in this film? The Mandalorian and Grogu acted like they acted in the first episode of The Mandalorian. There's literally neither one of those characters had any story at all. They're running through a plot. And I'm like, this is it, man. This is what it's come down to. There's no human characters in this film. And you could say, well, yeah, the Mandalorian's but he's not. He's a faceless person. And when they finally take off his mask, it's so lame that I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about anything that's going on in this movie. It's not a real movie. It is. There's really no story. Nobody changes. Nobody goes and does anything they haven't done before. They even have to figure out a way to give the Mandalorian back his Razor Crest. Star Wars used to be an opportunity. Every new Star Wars movie, they would give you a new vehicle. Look at The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back, what did we get? We didn't just get TIE fighters. We got a TIE bomber. We got AT-ATs. We got AT-STs. We got twin pod cloud cars. We got Bespin. We got snow speeders. There was all kind. They took us to Bespin, the Cloud City. We went to Dagobah. In this movie, there's nothing new. Why didn't the Mandalorian get a new badass spaceship? Why didn't they get something we hadn't seen before? Something that was the coolest thing ever. No, they had to go back and give him another Razor Crest. Let's figure out a way to. But and then you see his souped up N1 starfighter sitting on the ground in front of his house. There's not even a human villain in the movie. There's Imperial officers, but they don't really get to do much. Why is it that all the characters in the film are creatures or robots? Who fucking cares?
It was the complete antithesis of Endor, actually, which features only human. You know?
And you know what? I realized, I was thinking a lot about that. I go, that's why I loved Andor. Because I don't care about CG robots. I don't care about aliens. And even our villains. There's no threat there. The villains are just sitting in a room above, and I guess every hut has some creature that lives below them. It's so. I watched this and I thought, what a supremely unimaginative film this is. That is the total antithesis of what the original Star Wars trilogy was about.
What I liked, Rob, I have to say, was the score actually from Ludwig, who tried at least to give it a little
He
bit
did,
of fresh.
you know,
spin on it.
it's true. I mean, it's not like technically, but I watched this film and I'm like, I don't care about this movie at all. The Mandalorian should have had some kind of a dilemma. All he was doing was what other people told him to do. He was not doing something. I'm just like, I'm collecting a paycheck from the New Republic. By the way, what is the New Republic? Where is the New Republic? What does the New Republic want? Who governs the New Republic? I mean, we don't even get a scene. like how about? Don't get me started. I'm going to talk about this on Monday night.
Yeah,
but to me, it's shock. Actually, it's not shocking, but it's shocking to me that a major motion picture studio would spend $160 million on essentially a glorified 2-hour TV movie. There's nothing in this film. And look, I don't begrudge anybody that likes it. Everybody's desperate to love Star Wars. We all want to love it. Go back and watch Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and see how far the mighty have fallen. You know, I would dare say that Star Wars changed Hollywood and changed movies forever, and The Empire Strikes Back plussed Star Wars, and it's one of the finest and most imaginative fantasy films ever made, and it's about people. At the end of the day, Star Wars is about people. The parallel paths that Luke and Han are on. You know, I just don't give a fuck about Star Wars when it's not about people. I don't care about any of this crap. And you know what? The Mandalorian is just it's they didn't make it Boba Fett, which is always should have been in the first place. And there's all this fucked up mythology about the Mandalorian, and I don't even care. And not taking off your helmet is fucking dumb. It's dumb. Why wouldn't you take off your helmet? I mean, you got to clean it. What about just basic hygiene? You're breathing into it. I mean, I can't stand what Star Wars has become. It's become stupid, dumbed down, infantile bullshit. That's why Andor was such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Anyway,
certainly.
But far be it for me to harsh anyone's mellow. I'll talk about it more on Monday night.
And I will say, Rob, for the people who say it's for kids, I wouldn't even say that because it's way too long for kids. It's 130 minutes. For me,
you know what?
For
it doesn't
kids,
have anything.
It's too long.
Great kids movies, whether it's Old Yeller where the dog dies in the end, kids movies. You know what? Our entire society thinks if something's infantile and doesn't have any, it doesn't make any intellectual demands, the best kids material is great. To say The Mandalorian is for kids is to say kids are stupid, so you can make bad entertainment and pawn it off on kids. Somewhere along the line, somewhere in the last 35 years, our civilization decided that, yeah, you know what? Kid stuff has to be stupid. It has to be dumbed down. We don't demand our kids. That's why our kids are so uneducated. That's why people who are graduating from college can't read a fucking book. Because we've decided that kids' entertainment has to be infantilized and dumbed down. Not when I was a kid. But anyway, I hated the Mandalorian Grogu. I hated every minute of it.
Well, for me, it was just flatline, seen, forgotten. But I wanted to ask you, have you seen the other two movies that you wanted to see? So, Sarah, help me out with the title.
Saccharine. I did. You know what? We ended up not going to see Saccharine just because Alvaro and I were having a.
It was actually Rob the most movie I was interested in.
Yeah, I mean, we went and saw The Mandalorian and Grogu and then Passenger.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I really liked Passenger. Is it transcendent? Okay. No, but I thought it was old school. I thought it was a contained, from the director of
Out of Sea of Chain 2.
And I really liked it. It was old school. Okay. The mechanics of hell were not violated. I don't like it when the mechanics of hell are violated. For you. It gave you just enough and didn't. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the two leads. Oh, you know what? It was about. It was great to see a movie about a relationship, a functional, loving relationship between a man and a woman, where they were both equals in the story. And I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Alvaro liked it too, and one of the great elements that it had was Christopher Young, who did the wonderful score for like Hellraiser. Back in '87. It was a banger score. It was so nice to hear, a real horror score rather than just atmospherics. I mean, I enjoyed it. Is it the greatest movie in the world? Certainly not. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, and you know what? It comes from Walter Hamada over at Paramount. That's 2 movies Walter Hamada has given us in 5 months. The first being Primate over at Paramount, where they're doing some great genre stuff. So shout out to you, Walter Hamada, because was Primate the greatest movie in the world? No, but it certainly knew exactly what it was, and it was a hoot. It delivered, and so did this.
Okay, and who delivered the money, the cash flow at the box office?
Well, here we go. Now remember, this is and I don't care when people throw back the cinema score. No one's looking at Star Wars movies objectively anyway. Everybody desperately wants to love Star Wars. They really do. So do I. So here we go. This comes to us from Anthony D'Alessandro. Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu now seizing 97 to 98 million for a 4-day opening and an A- cinema score. But the big news is Obsession goes up 26% from its opening weekend.
That's rare. Movie
very, very rare. So it looks like, check this out. So Mandalorian and Grogu, that Saturday is a tad higher than Solo. Know that the $100 million 4-day is still in play. Many rivals see it there, but Disney always has a better sense of their own numbers. So the worldwide is going to be 167 million, it looks like. Focus features Obsession with an estimated 8.35 million on Saturday is on its way to a $27 million for the 4-day, which is incredible. Lionsgate's Michael is also coming in higher with its 4-day total might be 26 million. So a Memorial Day weekend that's well north of $209 million. That's nothing to complain about, as they say. So yeah, it's 37% off last year's record of 330 million, but still healthy. Okay. And the numbers are Mandalorian and Grogu, 91 to 94 million. Obsession, its total now, it's gonna make 24.8 million for a total of 55.1 million. $55.1 million on a movie that costs less than $1 million to make. That is a monstrous.
But Neon purchases, I believe, around 15 million at the festival circuit.
Yep. Michael is up to 317.8 million domestic. Devil Wears Prada 2 is pulling in another 14.6 million. It's about to cross 200 million domestic. That's a great response to Devil Wears Prada 2 is another triumph for the Quiet King of franchises, Steve Asbell over at 20th Century Studios. The Sheep Detectives, which is currently my favorite movie of the year, it brings in another 11 million, and it has a domestic total of 45.5 million. Passenger looks like it's going to put up 10.2 million. It's got okay word of mouth, but I liked it.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 2 putting up another 7.1 million for a total domestic of 73.6 million. And a movie that I might go to see today, I Love Boosters, Boots Riley's film, which is supposed to be crazy, did 4.6 million. Super Mario Galaxy at number 9 is up to a domestic total of, it did 3.3 million. 423.8 million domestic. Project Hail Mary put up another 3 million, still in theaters. Domestic total is 339.9 million. Monster hit for Amazon. So there we go.
Funny story about Obsession, Rob. I still haven't seen it because I told you it will open at the end of June here in Germany, and I told you I would go Monday to the blind date, the sneak unseen, which is how it's called in the US. And I was hoping. I had five, I had 5 movies on my bingo card, which would let me sit in the theater to see it. So I was hoping at least it could be Furious, martial arts banger I hear crazy things about, In the Gray, Passenger, Obsession, and I don't remember the fifth one. Backrooms. Unfortunately, Rob, it was none of the fifth. It was actually I Swear. And I Swear is the great movie, the British movie about the guy with Tourette syndrome, which I already own on Blu-ray and I have already seen, Rob. So as soon as the movie opened, the first shot, I knew the location, I knew the house that they were showing, and I thought, oh, okay, they're showing I Swear. And I went up and left. The people must have thought, he didn't even give the movie a chance for 5 minutes, and he already left. But Rob, I was not going to see the movie with the German dub. For me, this was a no-go. But I was happy for the people who went to the blind that at least they've gotten a good movie, because normally here it's mostly a movie that is coming out 1 or 1.5 weeks later, but not really a movie that's coming out a month down the line. But I was hoping it would be Obsession, but it wasn't, Rob. It would have been I Swear, which is called, I believe in Germany, Verflucht nochmal. Okay, Rob. I think we have already some super chats that came in.
That is very possible. I have not looked. I'm sure people tuned out and like, Rob's a dick. Very possibly. Let's see. Lord Toth. I'm looking down here. Richard Curtis with a $20 English pound says, after seeing last week's observations, I agree with your points on Obsession. However, I focused on different aspects of the film. I do still think it was better than Whistle, which I still liked. Which film do you favor? Oh, I think it's better than Whistle. But you know what? I thought Whistle was consistent, and I enjoyed Whistle. Again, it set up a lot of the mechanics.
That is, Rob. I would show it today, Rob, because I bought the English Blu-ray for this.
Nice.
Because like you, had a good time with it. But I have seen, Rob, probably already double dipping in Italy. It will get in 4K edition. So Whistle, this is just a normal Blu-ray, nothing to it. But I enjoyed it like you. I pretty much enjoyed Whistle.
Yeah. 8-Bit Sight says, I only watched the first episode, but The Burrows, that's the new Duffer Brothers series about older people. It's pretty fantastic so far. That cast, really fun. And I am blind, but pretty sure that's the Pluribus set. People have said that, but it's not the Pluribus set, even though it does look like it. I was told it was not.
Okay.
So, yeah. Paul Bernardo says, hi, Rob, I heard the characters don't make common sense decisions in Passenger, and it was predictable, but you still like the movie. I did. I did like the movie. I think the characters, you can't ask people who are suddenly thrust into a supernatural situation to make common sense decisions because they don't know what they're dealing with.
Correct, Rob. Correct.
And I thought once they figured out that there's a great scene in that movie where a woman's just walking up, the main character is just walking up to their van, and they do this 360-degree thing. I really liked it. It was fun. I enjoyed the film. I did a lot. So, let's see. We have Swaggy Steve says, seeing Star Wars movies should be an event. Why are these movies being diluted into just run-of-the-mill content? That is a very good question. And I think that people don't get it. I don't think they get it. And Dave Filoni, all of that. Dave Filoni I still think his mindset overall, he's an animation guy. He thinks in terms of animation. The Mandalorian and Grogu, in my estimation, was not a movie. It was 5 episodes of a TV series kind of mashed together. And it didn't have the weight or gravitas of a film story. But yeah. Rob Lego Patriot says, Rob, you're not a dick. Some people are going to think I'm a dick. 200 Watt Studio says, I would die to see a movie called Tourette's dubbed in German.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to sit through that. Okay, well, just a quick.
Well, hang on. I want to make sure.
Yep.
I want to make sure we haven't.
No.
Yes.
Sorry.
So Stubble
We caught up.
McShave sent in a tip and says, Dave Filoni may know a lot of Star Wars, but he's focused on it being a kid's franchise. To him, that means unsophisticated, simple, and artless. Even kids' movies can have sophistication and intelligent storytelling. Amen. I say the same thing. That's why when I was a kid, I was reading the books of Roald Dahl. I was reading Charlie and the Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, and Danny the Champion of the World. I was reading John Christopher's The White Mountains. I was reading Stephen King's Night Shift. And, even if you go back and you look at the Disney live-action movies of the 70s, I first fell in love with Jodie Foster in a movie called Candle Shoe. Where you go back in Alan Parker's movie Bugsy Malone. We used to get great, or even the Kurt Russell when he played, young Kurt Russell when he played Dexter Riley, and he was in the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes and the Strongest Man in the World. I mean, children's programming, I think, was much more considered than it is today. And it's really sort of too bad because it's not giving kids an intellectual and an emotional base. And it just drives me crazy. So.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
We caught up, Rob?
What's that?
We're caught up?
We're caught up.
So much? Okay.
Let's
just
show some stuff.
Okay, show some stuff. Okay.
Oh, no. Go ahead. What did you watch?
Yeah. What did I watch, Rob? Just a quick summary. Since last week, I showed where I have it here. The Naked Weapon set from Umbrella. I needed more, Rob. I needed more Maggie Q. And I remembered, she has that Amazon series. So I watched the spin-off to Bosch. I watched Ballad with her, which luckily gets a second season. Totally solid cop show, but don't expect much action. So it's more of a case going through the leads. But you have to pay attention because there are a lot of cases running simultaneously beside each other. So you actually have to pay attention, Rob. So really solid show. Nothing, I wouldn't say a must-see, but totally solid. But I haven't seen Bosch, which I always heard great things about. That
Bosch was good.
Then on Tuesday, one of the other movies that flopped at the box office, but for me, I had a total blast, was the Bob Odenkirk Normal. For me, totally nice setup with some nice twists, and of course, nice kills in it. So this is a must-buy easily. For me, even better actually than Nobody 2. Not the one, but the second one. So I thoroughly enjoyed Normal. Then, of course, Rob, let me just see if there was nothing else. No, of course, Rob, we have the big one. The finale of The Boys with season 5.
What did you think?
Well, our bad Canadian kid thought it was awesome and they stuck the landing. I would say, yeah, they stuck the landing, but barely for me. They did just the bare minimum to get to where we all was thinking it would lead up. For me, Rob, it just felt too small. Just a kerfuffle at the Oval Office. Starlight just being... Since when is Starlight a brawler? Okay, we can show her powers that we don't need to use CGI for her. So for me, it was fine. But I was just expecting just more. I was just a little bit...
I think that's fair.
Unsatisfied. It was fine, but considering... And it's not easy to do, the power scaling. What superhero can do what exactly. And then Ryan and Butcher is enough to keep Homelander in check. And for me, actually, the Homelander death, Rob, was a little bit quick. What I would have loved, Rob, was more like a death-proof ending, where they would Homelander have going in circles and get beaten up by the whole crew of the boys. And Rob, they did my Gen V kids dirty. Canceled it, and then they are just driving the truck away to Canada. So I was fine with the ending, but considering, like Angry Joe said, and I even didn't saw those posters, but Angry Joe, if you put out a poster as that, Rob, Homelander hovering over the Earth with some big explosion here going on.
Yeah.
Your expectation is a little bit different than what the show actually pulled off in the last season. So, okay, but unfortunately, a little bit unsatisfied for me, Rob.
I can understand that. I don't disagree with you. I mean, would I've liked... I found it fine. I thought it was fairly satisfying.
Exactly,
everyone had their just desserts. I like seeing Huey have a good ending with Starlight.
Yeah.
But at Homelander, I don't think it would have been very difficult to come up with a satisfying ending for that character or the entire situation.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think they should have had a 3-hour, a 3-hour, 3-part, like completely balls to the wall world.
Exactly, Rob.
Busting.
Especially, Rob, when you see Amazon spending money on something like Playdate, instead of putting the money here in that show with a big spectacle at the end,
Well,
and I was a fan, Rob, actually of episode 5, where a lot of people were hating on the 5th episode. I was totally loving the 5th episode because I got a lot of laughs out of the episode 5, and I was thinking we still have 3 hours left, because this was a big plus. Every episode was mostly 1 hour long. So I was thinking we still have 180 minutes left. We're still fine, people. We're still fine, But then the air got smaller and smaller, getting to the finish line. So it's fine, but I was expecting a little bit more, a little bit bigger,
Have you caught up with For All Mankind?
I have started, Rob, and I dried my tears this afternoon after seeing episode 3.
How great was that episode?
Yeah. And even if you could see a little bit ahead what will be happening in that episode, considering the ending of episode 2, I was, I'm prepared. You can't get me to tears. They got me, Rob. They got me. Those damn people. And For All Mankind, Rob, for me, is a good example that if your story is great and your characters is great, you can let slide that the effects are not top notch in every shot. If the rest of
the
show
good,
is
though.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty ambitious. You know what's great?
But I'm only at episode 3, Rob, which I.
The thing about For All Mankind is the secret to a great effect shot is the actual design of the shot itself.
Yeah.
How it's laid out, the movement in the shot. And For All Mankind has, obviously they don't have the money to do, but the way they use effect shots is really, really great. There's something coming up where they have
and I would say, Rob, they look at least consistent, even through when I think about back about the 5 seasons, they really have a consistent look to them,
Yeah. And we get the last episode this coming week and the first 2 episodes of Star City, the spin-off show. And I've seen the whole season now. And I have to say that I think it's an incredibly, there's a lot of people that have been critical of this season and have talked about that it doesn't have, I think this season ends on such a note that the whole season becomes very satisfying, and it fulfills the promise of what the show's been leading up to. And then even the Akutas who work on the series have talked about, well, maybe not publicly, but they've talked about how great the scripts for season 6, the final season, are. So
okay, that's and what helped me actually immensely, Rob, I totally forgot. Like you said, there is a time jump between each season. Are those little vignettes that they put out on Apple about what is happening each year? And I think those vignettes helped me a little bit getting into into the space. Where are we at now with
Yeah,
the time jump?
those vignettes
I
are
think they're
great.
really important. Yeah,
I
they're
wish
just
that
2 or 3 minutes just to get you on speed where we are.
Yeah, I wish that they would play those before episodes. The ones that they don't have in the episodes, I wish they would play them because they're really interesting.
Yeah, because I saw it just at the menu. Okay, what is down there? Oh, I forgot. We have to do little yearly vignettes for the show.
Yeah,
I think they are great.
Yeah. So what else? Should we start showing some physical media?
Yeah, but there were some super chats that came in, Rob. Let's do them first. And then we
There
start.
are. First of all, let's see. Let me go back. 200 Watt Studio says, how was Sigourney Weaver in Mando and Grogu? Hopefully they used her well. They did not. It would be great to see her have to fight troopers to save Grogu if Mando is down. None of that. They had her in it, and her dialogue was terrible. They didn't give her anything to do. I mean, to be honest, what I would like to have seen, and I was talking about this on a show yesterday, there's really interesting, for the Star Wars universe, geopolitical developments in this movie. That the New Republic is talking to certain individuals, getting information from them. Why didn't we see that? Like, why didn't Sigourney Weaver have a scene where, as a diplomat and as a general and as an officer or a fighter, a soldier for the New Republic, instead of her just telling us this, why don't we see that as a scene in the movie? When they're the people that, I won't say who, I don't want to ruin the plot, but the
Plot.
well, yeah, what plot? I know. But she was completely wasted, and she was given nothing to play. Big Disc Energy has become an imagination connoisseur. Thank you for that. Major Chai Chai says, for those in the U.S., please take a moment tomorrow, Memorial Day, to remember the military service members who made the ultimate sacrifice. I totally agree with that. Our men and women who have served. My father served in World War II. And everybody who made the ultimate sacrifice, and not just the people that made the ultimate sacrifice, but the people who are still serving even today. And Major Chai Chai herself is an actual Air Force major, retired. So I think that's a great sentiment, and totally agree with that. And then Darth Plato says, hey, Rob, I'm reluctant to see the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Watching them fight stormtroopers is like watching the Harlem Globetrotters jerking around the Washington Generals. It's impossible to take seriously. That is very funny. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a real...
That is one, I would say too, Rob. There were literally not really many stakes for Mando to overcome, you know?
There's like no stakes for him to overcome. No,
there you go.
it's... Richard Curtis says, I don't want to spoil any news, but I ordered Plan 9 from Outer Space by the British Film Institute, and Bride of the Monster is an extra. Well, when the BFI is putting out Plan 9 from Outer Space, I mean, there's an endorsement. Steve Cantino says, I'd be impressed, Dieter or Rob, if you own the imprint Life Force. I am a proud owner. Happy you guys keep the love of filmmaking and storytelling alive. Well, Steve, I have the Arrow Life Force, so I didn't buy.
Me too.
I didn't buy the imprint one. However,
the imprint came later, as I believe.
Yeah, it did. However, I did contribute. I did the Toby Hooper interview that's on that disc. I interviewed Toby Hooper, and I produced the audio commentary.
Nice.
So, oversaw it, really. But I'm a huge fan of the international version of Life Force. I will die on that hill. It's a lot of fun.
Correct. That is the correct version to watch. Okay, Rob, are we caught up?
We are caught up.
Okay, who starts, Rob?
Why don't you start?
Okay. First, a steelbook, Rob. A steelbook, which contains the theatrical cut and the extended cut on 4K and a separate disc on Blu-ray. I've got the Da Vinci Code
Wow.
as a steelbook
That's a
from
beautiful steelbook.
Italy. So it's actually 3 discs, 2 4Ks, because each version gets a separate 4K and the bonus features for the movie. But haven't seen it in a long time. And I think, Rob, just as you said with Life Force, I think the people prefer the extended cut here too. I think so. Da Vinci Code. Then in 4K here, leaving Las Vegas, but just an MRA here. But it comes with a booklet for the movie. But I haven't seen it yet, how the 4K restoration or transfer is holding up, because I think it's a 16 millimeter shoot. So we got the 4K and the Blu-ray, and luckily I could reverse the cover, so I don't have the big German rating on the front. It's actually from, let me see, Studio Canal here, Play On, leaving Las Vegas. Then a German TV series, or let's say streaming series, I've never seen. This was a little bit of a Schnäppchen to buy all 3, and at first I was thinking it would come in a box, but they are just the single releases put together, taped together. So the series is called Der Pass, the Pass from Sky. So we got season 1, season 2. I don't know if it's a continuation considering the story, or if this is always one case per season. I have no idea. And the first season came with a booklet for it. Never seen it, so it's a blind buy. But I got all 3 seasons a little bit price reduced, and I think it's gotten some acolytes at some festivals, I believe. So Der Pass, season 1, 2, and 3. Then from 88 films, and I just love the slip covers from 88 films, I got 3 older Eastern. I only have not watched this one, because this looks a little bit more wanky. The Angry River, because there's a little bit like a Godzilla type monster here, so I don't know what to expect of that. So I have not seen this one, and I just love the cardboard from 88 because of the structure, and they always have the reversible cover artwork with the original Chinese cover, and they all come with a poster. But these are just Blu-rays, they are not 4Ks, even if they are new restorations, I believe. So this one I haven't seen, The Angry River, which is from 1971, only 90 minutes. But I have seen the other 2. Let me just start with this one. This was a pretty nice one, pretty decent. The Invincible 8, which is actually from, they have a specific, not CinemaScope, Rob, but we can make this Diali scope or something like that. So you have the new cover artwork, and then I switched it to the reversible cover, poster, and this was actually pretty decent considering the age. It was still at the beginning, and I think Sammo Hung was featured here a little bit in the back, or did some of the fight choreography back then. Then one of my favorites from the 3, but I haven't seen the third one, was actually the Himalayan. And Rob, what a villain that movie has. I was thinking, oh, he is up to no good. This guy, where we have it, here, man with the tiger claw. He is killing people left and right who are not big on his plan. So this one has a really great villain, I have to say.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed it. The Himalayan. This was great. A little bit too long, almost 2 hours. So you could have cut a little bit of the training montage for it, just getting rocks up the hill and down the hill. So you could have trimmed it a little bit. But this was actually really great, Rob, especially considering the villain, you know. There's even some nudity in this completely, and he even kills the mate during the egg drop. What can I say? The Himalayan, totally thrilled with that one. Then some leftovers that I hadn't shown yet, which is the 4K of Shelter, Jason Statham, which I well enjoyed, totally solid, nothing specific. Everyone who likes the Statham vehicles know exactly what they're getting. Don't get anything more, but not anything less with Shelter. And an Arrow release that I postponed, but now I'm showing it. One of my favorite from the Hong Kong era is DI, or the Chinese era, which totally scared the living crap out of me when I watched it the first time. So we got a 4K, but don't expect reference quality. We all know those Chinese releases are a little bit wonky. This is a new transfer, 4K transfer. Looks good, but don't expect reference quality. And we have a booklet for the movie. The movie got a remake, American remake with Jessica Alba later. I totally loved the movie. Luckily now I know a little bit more of the creepy parts, so I could get easily through it this time. The Eye in 4K from Arrow, 4K and Blu-ray edition. The Eye. First horror from me. I give it
Well,
just a 4K. So just a 4K.
I first of all, I got a Kino Lorber box this week. Interesting stuff. Singled Out Season 4, which is a TV series, obviously LGBTQ series. Don't know much about it. I haven't ever watched it, but these are the DVDs. But then three interesting movies. This movie is called Fantasy Life. It stars Amanda Peet, Alejandro Nivola, and Judd Hirsch
full screen,
and Bob Balaban.
Full screen
I'll
for
go
you.
full screen.
Yeah.
I always forget to do that.
Fantasy Life. Yeah.
So there's this. This sounds actually pretty great. Independent film.
Yeah.
I love that even though they're DVDs, they're independent movies that I don't know, and sometimes they just don't want to spend the distributors won't spend the money. Same thing happened to Tango Shalom on 4K. Now here is a movie called Suburban Fury, which this actually sounds great. A gripping portrait of Sarah Jane Moore, a single mother from suburban San Francisco who in 1975 attempted to assassinate President Gerald Ford. Okay. So, and it's all about her transformation. And I love this. Mother, socialite, activist, assassin. So, and then this, an Israeli movie called Yes. Now, it's at Best Film of the Year. On the cover, it says, deliriously provocative, a veritable orgy of self-loathing. It's the zone of interest without the need for a garden wall. I'm like, whoa.
That's not thrilling, Rob.
So I'm like, okay, yes.
That's a bizarre description.
But now listen to this. One of international cinema's most fearless and provocative filmmakers, I can't pronounce his name right, but Nadav Lepid has long been an outspoken critic of his birth country's government policies, that's Israel, channeling a lifetime of fury and frustration into vital films like Synonyms and this. Now, he is once again taking vigorous critical aim at the Israeli government with a new approach, submission. Now listen to this plot. In the days following October 7th, Y, a jazz musician, and his wife Yasmin, a dancer, resolve to say yes to anything and everything. Y and Yasmin sell their bodies and their souls to the highest bidder, surrendering themselves and their art to Israel's social, political, and military elite. Soon, Y is entrusted with a mission of utmost importance to compose the music for a rousing, ruthless new national anthem feverishly whirling between moments of satire, sincerity, and complete submission. Yes is a visceral, blistering indictment of modern Israel. I'm in. So those are the DVDs they sent me. Then, of course, they also send me, where did I put it? Oh, wait. You know what? I got something else. I forgot all about what I got. I got a package in the mail, and it had 3 discs in it. Baby Assassins 1, Baby Assassins 2, and Baby Assassins 3. I wonder how somebody knew that I didn't have them. They were just in my mailbox. Would you care to speak to where these might have come from, Dieter?
Yeah, Rob. I thought you had your birthday and Max got the same 3 titles, and I don't want to have any feud between you two. So I thought you get exactly the same present that Max got. But there's only one drawback, Rob. I can't watch them for you. You have to watch them for yourself.
I know.
And I love them, Rob. If you can make assassination a mundane thing in the world, Baby Assassins can. It's just like a normal job, day job for them. They have to pay insurance. If they're not working pretty good, the cleaner has to come up, and they get their pay reduced. So for me, Baby Assassins is very, very specific and totally of its time. Because they kill people, Rob, and they don't care, Social media scrolling later on the couch. as would they have done nothing.
Well, I'm going to sit down and watch all 3 at once.
I hope if you like the first one, Rob, I think there's a good chance you like the other 2 as well. There's not many big, for me, highs and lows between the 3. I like them all 3.
Well, I was happy to get them. And then, of course, I got some more. This movie that I don't know much about, but it's from 1973. It's called Jory. He hung up his guns at the age of 15. And this movie stars John Marley, B.J. Thomas, and it introduces Robbie Benson. So, don't know anything about that. And then Major Chai will like this. I'll go full frame on this.
Yeah.
The Maigret, Inspector Maigret box set.
Ooh.
And she's a big fan. Yeah. So this is Jean Gabin's Maigret box set. And in it we have the movies Maigret Set to Trap, Maigret and the St. Fiacre case, and Maigret Sees Red in this box set. Great Kino Lorber box set. So that's very exciting. And let's call that. Oh, you know what? I'll show 2 more that I picked up as my first haul. Really been dying to see this film. Surat, nominated for an Academy Award. I can't wait.
Me too, Rob. I'm waiting for the 4K from the UK. I still have the German one, but I didn't get around to it. I heard it has a great sound design, Rob.
Yeah, I didn't wait for the 4K. I got this. It was offered to me as a review copy, so I took it.
Nice.
And then I also got Blue Moon with Handsome Hawk, which I really wanted to see.
That was the movie where Ethan Hawke is what was nominated for
yes.
Best
Yep.
Performing.
Yes, it is. Yep. So I got that. I can't wait to see those. So that's let's call that my first haul. So, yeah.
Okay. Because our headliner is waiting in the wings shop, and I can't wait that our headliner will be slamming evil. Hopefully.
Will he?
Hopefully. Hopefully. Would be nice if he slams evil.
I don't know. He sent me new things for this week, but okay.
Damn it. God damn it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Dieter says, let's open the C wing the way we like to. It's Mr. Max Allen Collins. Max, how you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing good. I need to tell you that when my wife Barb and I, Barb's a pretty astute film goer, and we went to the Sheep Detectives, and when they had the preview for this supposed Star Wars movie, when it played, she turned to me, she said, "Is that a parody?"
I wish it was. It would have been funny, Max. I wish it would have been.
Well, now, and maybe they're trying to beat Mel Brooks to the punch. By the way, Peter, I'm not going to talk about this week.
Oh, damn!
But I've got a group of things that have been kind of bumped off the show because of the we've missed a few weeks here and there. So I'll be catching up because I love this movie. So
yeah, I do too.
You're right. And I'll go to the C Wing first to say that we gave all the rooms out to veterans this week. So there's no jokes about the C Wing. Just congratulations to all the veterans, everybody who has and is serving us so well. My dad also was in World War II, so nothing, no jokes on that end this week. I also and Rob, are you the only person here who hasn't seen these movies? Usually you're not this far behind the curve. I don't know. Well, we'll catch up. Dieter, shall we catch up?
Yeah, especially I thought I give you some Japanese stuff to watch with your son,
No, I haven't seen. Now there's a TV show too, isn't that right?
Correct, but unfortunately, I don't know if there's any possibility to watch it. I have the Japanese edition, but it doesn't have any subtitles. So I need to get Nathan on that thing to do the subtitling for the TV show. But you don't have to see the TV show. I think the TV show, the third movie is playing between episode 6 and the other 6, but you don't have to see the TV shows to enjoy the movie.
Well, I would say this to everybody, especially Rob, is you do want to watch all 3 of these because...
Well, 200 Watt Studio sends in a super chat and says that Baby Assassins 3 is the highest rated of all of them.
Ooh, it does kind of build to it. It's much... The others, I think, are about 90 minutes, Dieter, if you remember? And it's a full 2-hour movie.
And it says on the cover it says on the cover right here, right underneath the title, darker, harder hitting, and phenomenal. So
I love those movies. We'll talk about those again so you've got a couple of weeks to Rob
catch up.
Dieter,
like Fox Force 5. Catch up.
Yeah. This week is kind of special because it's kind of I'm here supposedly to talk about noir, and sometimes they talk about anything but noir. It's all noir this week, or neo-noir. And we're going to start with 2 of my 3 favorite neo-noir movies. And the first one is Body Heat. This is a Criterion, and I have to admit, I generally consider people who bite on the Criterion 30% off sale as being idiots because all they have to do is wait a few weeks and get the 50% off on one of these sales. I couldn't wait for this one, and I couldn't wait for Point Blank either, which we're also going to be talking about. This is an incredible movie. If you're somebody out in our audience, our imagination connoisseurs who are science fiction, horror, so on, and don't spend that much time on noir. Maybe like action movies, but noir doesn't do it for them. This is the one to see. Sometimes it's lumped in with the erotic thrillers, which it kind of initiated.
It's also written and directed by the man who wrote The Empire Strikes Back
and
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, he had those 2 screenplays, and guess what? They let him make whatever movie he wanted to. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence Kasdan, he had right out of the gate, he had Body Heat, which has one of my favorite lines in any movie.
Yes, could tell us.
You're not very smart, are you?
Everybody's favorite.
I like that in a man.
I like, yeah. Not surprisingly, my wife's favorite line in the movie.
It's so great.
as well.
And the movie, William Hurt and Kathleen Turner are, I mean, one of the great modern couples in any movie. Kathleen.
Let's not forget about Richard Crenna and Mickey Rourke.
No, I know.
The best Mickey Rourke performance I've ever seen. And you know who J.A. Preston is, black actor?
Yeah.
He's terrific in this movie.
Every actor is incredible. And, you know, Kasdan had 3 movies, one right after the other. He had Body Heat, then he had The Big Chill, then he had Silverado. And that he wrote and directed. And I love all 3 of those movies.
Well, I love this movie. And as we're raving about it, how about that John Barry score?
My God, is that score incredible?
That is one of the great film scores. And when you listen to it, you go, this is the James Bond guy?
Yeah.
There's one piece of the score that does sound like James Bond, that plays through some of the really suspenseful stuff when things are happening. And you can go, oh yeah, that's the James Bond guy. But otherwise, it's the most magnificent, romantic, noir, melodramatic, just amazing. And the cinematography is incredible too. Richard Klein, who there's a little movie he did you may be familiar with, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I know.
And Andromeda Strain, which is another one of my favorite science fiction movies. He brings his full game to this. And of course, Kasdan was a first-time director. And he was very smart. He just said, "Whatever you want to do, I can do it." And did he do it? So it's a great. If you've never seen this, I envy you. And there's no excuse for it. You need to see this. It'll be one of the great evenings of your life. And one of the nice things about it, as much as I love this movie, and I've seen it multiple times, I hadn't seen it for maybe, might have been 5-10 years. It's twisty enough that even if you feel you know it intimately, there's still surprises.
Yeah.
Still things you forgot about. And the writing of this, it's all about the writing. All this wonderful stuff is happening, you know, the great acting, the John Barry score, the cinematography, but it's that Kasdan script, which nails the James M. Cain, you know, Double Indemnity, Postman Always Rings Twice kind of hard-boiled detective novel. And people who talk about noir sometimes forget that it all began with those novels, with those writers, Dashiell Hammett, Raymond Chandler, James M. Cain, Mickey Spillane. It all emanates from there. And they oftentimes will not even mention those names, as if Billy Wilder is the guy who created Double Indemnity, sort of, but not really.
Right.
And this is also, I would say, and I would it's at least as good as Double Indemnity, and it's as much as I love the Postman Always Rings Twice movie with Lana Turner and John Garfield. Body Heat really actually is better than the source is. It's really an amazing movie, and I would say there's basically 3 kinds of noir stories. There's the James M. Cain, which is the couple who fall in love and commit a murder or contemplate committing a murder. That kind of story. Then there's the Private Eye story, which is the Maltese Falcon and Kiss Me Deadly. And then there's also the crime movie, the flat-out crime movie, particularly the ones that have the criminal as the protagonist, like the Asphalt Jungle, for example. But maybe the best one of those is, there you go, Lee Marvin and Point Blank. This is the John Borman directed film from Richard Stark's novel, The Hunter. Richard Stark being, and we talk about him here quite a bit, Donald E. Westlake, the great mystery writer, of his era. Now, I don't know if there's some people who've been complaining about this transfer, and I thought it looked great. Maybe I'm just not enough of an aficionado of that end of things, but it looked great to me. There's some complaints that it's a little olive looking, and I would have to say Borman, the director, supervised the transfer. If he approves it, it's fucking okay with me. All right. So how you could look at this disc and complain about it, I don't know. I do have a complaint though. I do have a complaint.
Okay.
The Body Heat has a really good Criterion booklet. It's not a book. It's one of those fold out things, but it's a very good essay. And I think it's by Jeff O'Brien. Let me just check on that, because he's very good at that kind of thing. No, it's by Megan Abbott. She's really good too. Mystery writer. You know, some of these mystery writers know what they're doing.
So you say.
Don't say.
I couldn't get through the pretentious, stupid booklet that Criterion put into this.
Don't mince words. What do you really think, Max?
Well, blue. But it's a hard movie for some people to deal with, because what you have is a simplistic but very clever crime story about a professional thief who is betrayed, and is betrayed by his best friend and his best friend's wife, who's also the professional thief's mistress. And he comes back to get his revenge / money, but in the process, it's a tiny spoiler because it doesn't happen until about a half hour into the movie, kind of kills the guy he wants to have revenge from. So he sets out to go to the organization, basically the mob, and get his money. And he just kind of climbs up the ladder of the organization, saying, "I want my money." They say no. He kills them, and he goes on to the next one. That's the story, okay? And it's, again, relatively simple. Now, the rumor is, it's more than a rumor. I actually got to talk to John Borman and Donnelly Westlake at the British Film Institute when they showed Point Blank there. And Borman did not feel that the script was very good in terms of an adaptation. And again, this is what I understand. He basically threw the script out and just took the bare bones of it. So there's not much dialogue in this movie, and there's a lot of really, I don't know if the word flashy is right, but I'd like to turn to Rob on this, because I feel like he's really working out of a more European, art film kind of approach, because it's disjointed in sense. It flash forward, flashes back.
Yeah, I mean, he does things, it's kind of like what Nicholas Roeg ended up doing. Yeah. Nicholas Roeg, the cinematographer, when he jumped into directing.
But in my opinion, better. I don't think anybody ever did this better than Borman, because you're still able to keep track of the plot.
Sure.
So you never lose the plot, and this is the definitive Lee Marvin performance. And Marvin supposedly just went kind of like Eastwood with a Fistful of Dollars, just went through the script, just marking his lines out, And there's this wonderful scene. There's an actress named Sharon Acker who plays the wife. And there's this wonderful scene where he tracks her down, and again, she betrayed him. And they left him for dead. One of the interpretations of this movie is that he is dead. But he goes in, he's got the gun in his hand, sits on the couch, and she sits next to him, and she proceeds to answer every question that he would have asked. Marvin has no dialogue. I'm sorry, that's fucking amazing. That's incredible storytelling, incredible on for Borman and Marvin. Anyway, excellent movie, and it is the definitive for me modern neo-noir crime movie, caper movie, because it's kind of a caper that goes wrong. And a lot of good people in it. Angie Dickinson, Carol O'Connor is really, really good in this movie. John Vernon, our Animal House guy,
Oh yeah.
he's terrific in the movie, and so is Keenan Wynn, who always did Keenan Wynn ever give a bad performance? I never encountered it. So anyway, those two movies. The other movie, if you want to know what the Private Eye movie is, it's Chinatown, and a close second is Kiss Me Deadly. If you've seen those, you don't like them, don't watch any of the noirs, because they don't get better than those four movies.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that's interesting this week is I have two from Kino Lorber, these box sets they put out. By the way, I'll talk a little bit about the McRae box set sometime in the near future. I love those movies, the Jean Gabin adaptations of some of the best of Seminone's Inspector McRae novels. They're great. So we'll do that later. Now, this is something called Brit Noir, and it is 3 movies. And what's really great about this box, it also covers sort of 3 different types of noir movies. There's one that is essentially a flip of the femme fatale story, where it's a man is basically in the femme fatale role, and the woman is the protagonist who gets taken advantage of, and it's directed by Basil Dearden, who was a pretty good British director, and the star is Gene Simmons, and Herbert Lom is one of the major characters, one of the villains, kind of, and he's in every one of these 3 Brit Noir movies. So it's kind of a Herbert Lom box set. He's, of course, in the Pink Panther movies is is Clouseau's inspector who goes increasingly mad depending on which movie you're watching. But he's very straight in these, and he was a very good kind of secondary actor in a lot of these movies. So that one is really good. Then the next one is The Ringer, which is Edgar Wallace play. Now, Edgar Wallace is somebody that most of us, I guess, know as one of the writers of King Kong. But he was a huge mystery writer in Great Britain and also just in Europe. And he also did a lot of plays, kind of like Agatha Christie did The Mousetrap, for example.
Yeah.
And they're kind of enclosed stories where it happens in pretty much one setting, and some mysteries going on you're trying to figure out. In this one, somebody in this movie is the Ringer, which is a killer who's pretending to be somebody else. And
the story of my life.
Yeah, it's the target is Herbert Lom. And it's excellent, and it just happens to be directed by somebody named Guy Hamilton.
Oh.
Does that mean anything to any of us?
007 fame.
We're talking about Goldfinger, and I think he did Diamonds Are
A lot of
Forever.
other 007 movies.
But it's Val Valentine, who was a very prolific writer, who did all the great Saint Trinian's movies. If you know those movies of the school girls who do things like do railroad heists, and they're great little movies. So if you get a chance to see those, you'll probably enjoy them. So that's a kind of a movie. It's a very different kind of a movie than that first movie in the box set. And the third one is The Frightened City, which is really interesting because it's looking at the mob or the organization from the inside, how they kind of are individual mobs, gangs, and come together as one. And the lead in this, now both guys that were involved on the creative end, the director John Lamont and the writer Lee Vance, are all TV people. They did very little. They don't have a distinguished CV like Guy Hamilton as far as cinema is concerned. But what really makes this one special, the star of this movie essentially, 1971, The star is Sean Connery. So this is Connery like a year from Dr. No. And he's there. I mean, he so outshines everybody else in the movie, and they're all competent British actors. It's amazing. If you're a Connery Bond fan, you got to see The City, because it's just amazing to see. Because you always kind of feel like, well, Connery was a secondary guy that they popped into the role, and he just came to he rose to the occasion. No, he was ready. He was ready, and it's absolutely obvious in The Frightened City. Now, that's one box set, and Kino also did a box set that is called Malfeasance. I think these are all Blu-rays as opposed. They're not. Yeah, they're Blu-rays. They're not 4Ks. Malfeasance is 4 movies by a director called. Let me get the piece of paper so I can remind myself, because these French names, little tough for Daddy. Well, his name is. Because it's on the disc. His Yves Bosset. Now, have you ever heard of this guy, Dieter or Rob?
No, I haven't heard of him, but I have the box set.
Well, I looked him up, and I hadn't heard of him. I mean, I'm a little limited in my knowledge of French filmmaking. I'm pretty much, Jean-Pierre Melville and Jacques Tati, and that's about it for me. I don't have Rob's catalog, but this.
No one has, Max. No one.
But I tell you, this guy is a discovery. He's sort of like, to me, I thought of Don Siegel. This is somebody who could do anything in the crime or mystery area. There's 4 movies on here. They're all good, and they're all a different area of the crime film or the mystery film. Now, I guess this is sort of an admission. Keith Holland and I did the commentary on the one that is called Angel's Leap, and at the time I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't blown away, but I thought, well, I'm glad I got a decent movie here to discuss. Well, and it had interesting things in it, because it's a revenge movie where the mob does away with some of their elements of their association and wipes everybody out. But there's this one guy that kind of retired from the mob when he was young and is off doing other stuff. And he's just kind of floating around out there. He doesn't kind of like his whole family being wiped out. And he comes back to take revenge on everybody. It's a revenge action thriller. It's a good one. But it's that kind of movie. And what's really nice about it is it has Sterling Hayden in it. And it's a 1971 movie, and there's that's the main thing to me that stood out, that it was Sterling Hayden. And what's interesting about it is you can tell that because you're looking at a French film with subtitles, and you can tell that Sterling Hayden is doing his own French. He's doing his own dialogue. And then he does the dub. If you check the English dub, he's doing him. So he really stepped up on that, because a lot of times on these foreign films, with American stars, the American stars, obviously do their own dub, or sometimes they don't even do their own dub. But it's very rare that they also do the foreign language. So that's impressive. The other 3 films, there's one called Mad Enough to Kill. I'm going to come back to that one. It's the second one in the box. The third one is called La Femme Flic, The Woman Cop. It's made in 1980, and I don't know this actress, but I'm pretty sure she's a name actress. Is it Miu Miu? Miou? She's a very, very pretty, delicate kind of blonde. This film is a real slow burn. she's a big city cop, but she gets herself in trouble with the people above her because she doesn't want to play the game, and they send her off to a little town. Just transfer her to, Borneo, basically. So she's in this little town, and she's really a loner, and she's having trouble getting, even though they don't even like it that she can shoot better than they do. So it's interesting things just about character stuff, about how she kind of gets to know the town and the people in the town and the people on the force, and her inspector, her boss, who doesn't respect her at all initially, and comes to respect her, as you might anticipate. But it's a mining town that's ruled by a very powerful family that run everything. It's like those westerns where the saloon is got the guy's name on it, and the bank has the guy's name on it, and the everything in this town that is controlled by this family. And there have been murders of young children, mostly women, little girls, like
Ouch.
11, 12, over time, and they tend to be, and they can tell they're sexually active, like 11 or 12-year-olds are sexually active. And she digs into this case, and because it connects to the really rich people in the town, it's frowned upon. And so then there are interesting things like it's a child pornography ring. There's all kinds of stuff that you didn't anticipate in the early, reels of this movie. And it goes just incredibly interesting, dramatic places. And again, this is a 1980 movie, and I swear, I can't say it's echoes of the Epstein files, but it is so incredibly paralleling things about the Epstein files, including one of the major figures committing suicide by hanging himself in his cell. I mean,
Ahead of its time.
Those oldies but goodies. There's sometimes newies but goodies. Anyway, that's a phenomenal movie. The next one is Rise Up Spy, which is a 1982 movie starring Lino Ventura and Michelle Piccoli and Bruno Kramer. Bruno Kramer from Sorcerer. And Bruno Kramer is one of the best of the Maigret actors. All that stuff kind of connects. And it's very much a Jean Le Carré type spy movie. This is a sleeper agent who's for 8 years been living a very respectable life, and he gets woken up. But there's two sides of it are trying to claim they're the ones who woke him up. Two sides are both claiming they're the good guys, claiming to be essentially, I guess it's French intelligence. French, and he had kind of like a little bit like the Ipcress files, where at the end of the movie, the guy has to figure out which of these two men who were his superiors that he can trust, and he has to kill the other one. This is in that area. So it's a really good little spy movie. But the best movie is the one called Mad Enough to Kill. It's 1975. I don't know this actress, Marlena Jobert. She couldn't be better. There's a little kid. It's a kidnap movie, in part, and then it becomes a chase movie, where this woman, who's in a mental institution, and you're wondering what the hell is going on here, because this rich guy comes as a philanthropist to give a job to this mental institution sort of graduate. Let's say she's been there 5 years, and he's hiring her. Now think about this. He's very wealthy. I mean, incredibly wealthy, and he's hiring her to be the nurse, the maid, what word am I looking for? He's to tend after this little child who was his late brother's child. And so she's the nanny. That's the word. I'm sorry. Anyway, and she goes into the beginning is her in this incredibly wealthy setting, incredible penthouse that she's given, but everybody is kind of working for this guy, seems to be from the mental institution. and you know, and it, like the you know, the chauffeur just shows up in her apartment with his shirt off and sits down and helps, you know, tells her about how he got, how many women he's molested in his career. And she's just very timid and self-contained. And the little boy is a monster. And in fact, my wife Barb, as we were watching, she said, "Oh, good, I won't mind when they kill this kid." So,
Wow.
That's
Go Barb.
But there's a kidnapping, and then we realize that probably it's not really hidden that this very rich man is engineered this, because if this kid gets killed, then he gets all of the money that would have been that this kid would have inherited from the other brother, who as it transpires, we figure out was killed. Him and his wife were killed by the rich guy. I mean, it's a wild story, and the middle of the movie is them being, you know, held in a little place and them trying to play their captors, as you will see in a kidnapping movie sometimes. Very effective. And then the nanny gets away with the kid, and there's a huge chase thing, and it's extremely unpredictable, very fun. And we find out that she was in the mental institution because when she was 12, she killed 12 or 13. She killed a man who raped her, and that's why she's been incarcerated. And she has a terrible fear of people in uniforms. So when they are fleeing, if she doesn't go to the police, even though she might be able to logically go to the police, and the kid gradually, very gradually warms to this, becomes more normal and warms to this nanny. And it's a wonderful film. It's a wonderful film. And I couldn't recommend it highly enough. You know, sometimes when you get these box sets, there's some dog.
Well, it was a complete blind buy, I would assume, for you, Max.
Pardon me?
It was a cat in four bags.
It was absolutely. And it's kind of funny that I don't want to say the weakest, but the one that I would say was kind of the weakest, though it was very good, was the one that I'd done the commentary for. So I just, let's see what these other movies are. And anyway, I don't know whether this is an accident or somebody is really curating well at Kino. Now, you don't get any booklets or any of that kind of stuff, but you get nice, you get a nice, and it's.
Next question: How did they decide which movie do you do commentary on?
Well, they write you and say, "Do you want to do this?"
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Dumb question. How could I have asked?
And that is kind of frustrating, because there's a lot of people online. You know, there's a lot of people that do these frequently and have really good credentials. And I keep saying to them, "Well, you know, I am Grandmaster MWA mystery writer. If you're doing something."
And Max, I mean, you also did write The Return of the Maltese Falcon, which is available now, and you're now writing 2 more Sam Spade novels.
I am.
By the way, I want to follow up on that. Richard Curtis asks, talking of Brit Noir, will the original, or only, Get Carter get a Warner Brothers release soon? Has anyone read the book it's based on? Well, first of all, Get Carter has been released both by the BFI and Warner Archive released it as a 4K. So I have both of those versions. So you can get Carter. The transfers are identical. They're beautiful.
Yes, Jack, and the novel is Jack's Return Home, I believe, and it's Ted Lewis was the writer, and he's one of my favorites. He's kind of the British Richard Stark, and I would say Get Carter. Those 4 movies I mentioned, I would add it. It would be the next on my list, because Get Carter is very much the point blank of British crime movies, and is arguably as good or better, because the script is better. That's my favorite Michael Caine movie, and I like a bunch of my Michael Caine movies.
Yeah,
so.
it's a great film. By the way, 8-Bit Site says, I sent you a link to your next Midnight Metal Cup. P.S. It's badass. Well, I'll have to look for that, which I will do. Stubble McShave sends in a tip and says, I had the opportunity to watch The Mandalorian for free, but I opted out. If I have the time tomorrow, I may write a letter about how Grogu killed the Mandalorian. 200 Watt Studio says, if you need to score a horny movie, John Hornsberry is your man.
You got it. And
I mean, that score is very, very sexy.
For a long time, and I don't know the exact story on this, but Barry did not allow his score to be put on CD or vinyl.
Right, that's right.
Because I think they put it out, or were going to put it out with like the Lad Company logo theme leading in. He didn't like that. So for something like 20 years, you couldn't get Barry's score.
Yep.
I don't know a better John Barry score than that one.
It's a great score.
Well, gentlemen, I do have good or bad news depending on your
hang on 1 second. There's one more super chat from Richard Curtis, and who says, I think I bought it because of this channel, but I recently watched The Great Silence. I loved it too. Does anyone know if Klaus Kinski did the Spanish dub? It might be Italian. I do not know that.
No idea.
But I do know it's a good movie.
I would need to listen to it to recognize if it's Klaus himself.
The movie I mentioned, Angel's Leap, it was really obvious that he was doing his Sterling Hayden was doing his own
dubbing.
His own dubbing, but it was great. Anyway, I want to tell you guys, I will not be able to be with you next week.
Okay.
How dare you, Max? Unless you have a really, really good reason.
Well, I'll call it my movie, even though I didn't direct it, but a movie I wrote and co-produced called Cap City, sometimes called Mickey Spillane's Cap City, is in a film festival in Des Moines, Iowa Motion Pictures Association Film Festival, and it's being screened at 2:15 p.m. at the Fleur Cinema in Des Moines, and that night is the awards, and my screenplay is up for Best Screenplay, and the movie is up for Best Feature. I think it's Best Feature under $100,000 or something like that. Interesting story about this is I have been working on this screenplay for like 2 or 3 years with this particular director, and it was going to be full-blown production, at least several $1 million. And you know how it is with these projects. I don't have to tell you, Rob. You get right to the starting gate, and then it doesn't happen. You get right to the starting gate, and finally, he called me up after 2 years of this, and I'd rewritten it. It was originally a man was the protagonist, and then I wrote it as a woman because there were a couple of actresses who were interested in doing it. And so I'm chasing that can down the road. And so he calls me and says, well, I think we're going to have to just move on. And I said, you ever thought about doing a really micro budget? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, I just did a movie for $10,000 by using in one set. And I said, I know how to rewrite this script as one set. So if you can get a nice set for it and a good cast, I'll do the rewrite. And so he said, sure, okay. He said, because I can make that happen. And so I did the rewrite, and he went out and he got it mounted, got $100,000 or something, maybe more. I don't know. I wasn't on that end of things. But when he called me to say that they were going to shoot it, they wanted me to come out and be on set. Well, he started shooting the same day that I started shooting Death by Fruitcake.
Wow.
So I had 2 movies shooting simultaneously.
That would be this movie.
But not everybody can say they had 2. Caston even had to have his first 2 movies. They had to be done. They couldn't be done simultaneously. Mine could be done simultaneously, and for considerably less money.
So we are skipping back and forth from both sets.
Well, I don't know if you can't give up. You can't give up.
Max, would you like me to run the trailer for Cap
Do you
City?
have the trailer?
I have the trailer. Because I'm good like that. All right, everybody. Here's the trailer for Max Allen Collins' Cap City.
Cap City is a clenched fist. Crime juts out like knuckles. In this town, if you're not a suspect, then you're the target.
Happy night off, Roz.
Look, it's not like the mayor didn't have his enemies.
I'm pleased to see that the captain of detectives is handling this investigation personally.
Just remember, rungs are meant to be stepped on.
Let's be careful who we step on, Captain.
You know what the real mystery here is?
Isn't a dead mayor, a couple of bent cops, and one sleazy fixer enough?
Honesty only gets you so far in this life, Captain. Even less far in politics.
The safety of his remaining family is now my responsibility.
We should be more discreet.
Made for less than $100,000.
Yeah, right around in that area. So, but he had a great cast, and some of us didn't get paid much.
Very exciting. We also have something else this week for me personally. It's a little thing, but it's a big thing to me. Could you explain to the world what Kirkus Reviews is?
Kirkus, among, I would say, novelists, Kirkus is known as the stingiest, sometimes nastiest reviewing service that you could ever encounter. I mean, in a 50-year career, I maybe had 4 good Kirkus reviews, and I had some that were quotable in the wrong way. It's like, can't this
just
guy
need to
find
pull out
a
the right
way to
quote,
make a living? That kind of review, and unsigned, which I always just really grated me that they were unsigned. They're the toughest. They loved something you directed, Rob.
I have known what Kirkus Reviews is for a long time. I never thought that I would ever do anything that would ever be reviewed by them. That was not on my bingo card ever in my life. And we got, of course, from Dave Dorman's wife, had noticed that Kirkus Reviews was going to review. Because I have to say, to be honest, you have to look at life. I've always said life is a continuum where everything is happening always at the same time. So you have the very worst things that can be happening to you and the very best things that can be happening to you, and everything in between is all happening at once. And you just never know what could be happening at any one time. But one of the things that has been disheartening to me is that basically True Noir has disappeared. There's been very few reviews, very few people apparently have listened to it, and it has been disheartening because I put so much of myself, of all the things that I've ever made, it's the thing that I am most proud of, that I feel that it's the most me, it's the most least compromised thing creatively. There's no compromises anywhere in it, starting with your scripts. So when I heard Kirkus Reviews was going to review True Noir, I heard that with trepidation and elation. Again, that continuum. Because it could be a great thing or the worst thing ever. Turns out it was, they don't mention me, but it doesn't matter. It's the team.
Well, I don't think they mentioned me either.
Yeah, I know.
He mentioned Michael Rosenbaum, and I understand why.
And you know what? They were so complimentary, and that Kirkus review drops on the 26th, so Tuesday. And maybe it'll make people aware. I mean, we're coming up with the Grammy Awards, and we have to submit to the Grammys, and which I'd love to do, to start my run to have an EGOT. To be one of the Steven Spielberg just got his EGOT for the John Williams documentary. So never too late to start, right? But yeah, I'm very excited about that Kirkus review.
Well, the other thing we have to remember, and this really happens, and I know it has happened to you with film too. You write a book, and then maybe it's 2 years before it's published, and you almost have forgotten about it in a weird way. Because
yeah,
you kind of have to move on and do other things to make a living. So, really, it seems to us like True Noir has been around forever, but it was really just published.
Yeah, it was just published a couple months ago, really. I mean,
And with this kind of property, that's nothing. So we have just begun to fight.
Yes, but that Kirkus review is very nice, and
and I should have sent this to you already, but I think I have a link that you can provide starting maybe next week when you talk about how sad you are that I'm not with you. Don't make it sound like I passed, but
easy there, Max. Easy.
I hope not, because I mean, to be honest, talk about a continuum. The True Noir dying in the post-war world movie.
We're hopeful.
Yeah. As they said in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, dice are rolling. So
I'm going to have for you to present next week a link to where all the imagination connoisseurs who want to own physical media of True Noir will be able to go there and get it for, I think it's on sale right now for like $12 or $13 for a 4 CD set.
Yeah, which I didn't even know about. But I am I'm gonna the soundtrack album and the Blu-rays coming along.
That's coming. Yeah, so we just been born. Come on, Rob.
It's true.
We just got born.
You know what? From your mouth to God's ears, Max. It's all a continuum. But listen, it's always great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
And,
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
And don't forget, Max, you need to slam evil.
I just want to make sure. Brit Noir. I wanted to say. I got that. Stub McShave says I had the opportunity to see The Mandalorian for free, but I opted out. If I have the time tomorrow, I might. I already read that. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
There's more, but I'll let Max go.
Now, if they would pay me to go, no, I still don't want to go. I told you, Rob, I was not going to go to that movie.
You should go. You should go see it just to be up on the pop culture zeitgeist, Max.
If you want to take a 2-hour nap, Max, then certainly.
Well, guys, it's a pleasure to be with you. I hope you miss me while I'm gone. It will be a short show.
We will all. Oh, look, he's. Did you freeze, Max? Max froze.
Just a question. Isn't next week your Putnam? Your Putnam.
That's being rescheduled.
Exhibition?
No, that's been rescheduled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it keeps getting rescheduled.
I was remembering something end of May.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Love you both.
All right, man. See you later, Max. The great Max Allen Collins. Always great to have him. You can read his latest book, The Return of the Maltese Falcon, that is available everywhere. And so I encourage everybody to read that because it's great. It's actually a really good book. And it's a great story.
Fingers crossed for his festival next week. Perhaps
very, very cool. Maybe he'll win an award. So that's exciting. Now,
the only thing I have to say, a little bit disappointed today, Max. We actually wanted to hear if your grandson liked Dr. No or not. No, just saying. Just saying.
Oh, I forgot about them. Shit.
Yeah, just saying. But Max, we will give you time. We have 14 days now until the next time you show up here at our show. We will hopefully hear then about your experience with watching Dr. No with your grandson. And don't forget, Max, you need to slam evil at some point.
So, how about you show your next?
Yeah.
Give me. I need a moment to.
Are we caught up, Rob, with the super chats?
We are not. We are not, and I'm happy to catch up with super chats, which we could do.
Let's do that first.
Secular Monk. Now, I didn't want to do this, but let's do it anyway because he's mentioning something with Fight Club. With the Fight Club 4K now out, when do you think we'll get the 4Ks for The Rock or Con Air? Happy birthday, Rob. Well, Secular Monk.
I don't have mine yet, Rob. Oh, nice.
You don't.
Nice.
Not only do I have mine, I have mine in
it's coming out a little later.
Cover. Well, let me just crack open my sleeve for this bad boy. Love this cover.
Yeah. I hear some people are not really thrilled with some changes.
Okay,
David Fincher made.
Give me a break. I mean, I'm like, I watch this. First of all, the disc is spectacular. It's spectacular. And I have gone back and forth. Fincher, he made some changes in 7. My favorite thing, I got into an argument where I think it's Marla Singer's, her Xanax prescription. It used to say 300 milligrams, and now it was changed to 50 milligrams. And I'll tell you, somebody said, how dare they do something like that? That was one of the tells that Tyler Durden's not real. And I'm like, okay. I have nothing to back this up, but I'll tell you something. I will bet someone said to David Fincher, it is ridiculous that you had her original prescription at 300 milligrams. That is totally unrealistic. Nobody would ever get 300 milligrams. And the thing is, you don't want to necessarily tip off. Like Marla Singer, I can understand that doesn't really, if you think about the rules, not the rules of Fight Club, but the rules of where Tyler Durden shows up in the movie, I don't think Marla Singer's prescription should be a tell. So I'm sure it's something people have said to David Fincher for 30 years, and he's like, I'm going to change it. But when you look, it's not like he's pulling a George Lucas, where he's fundamentally changing a character moment, like Greedo shooting first. And the fact that he keeps revising it and makes Greedo... Because Han Solo shouldn't kill anybody? No, it's a Western. When he kills Greedo, Greedo has threatened his life. Han Solo says, over my dead body. Greedo says, that's the idea. Greedo has told Han he's going to kill him. So anyway, it's not like that. So all of the little changes, and I went through, the disc looks incredible. Nobody will ever know. The film is if you like the film, it's as potent as it ever was.
I would never have known that, Rob, if you wouldn't have told me about the 300 milligrams and 50 milligrams.
No,
I'm not a doctor, Rob.
No. But anyway, so Secular Monk says, now this is the question. When will we get The Rock or Con Air? Now, these are Disney movies, believe it or not. They're Disney films. And
they're Hollywood pictures?
They're Hollywood pictures. And who knows? Where's blood in, blood out? And that's one of the real problems is that we barely get physical media from them. We're lucky when we do. So who knows when we're going to get that? I don't know. I really don't know. Which is kind of a bummer. Cinema 13 sends in a tip and says, I watched Ida Lupino's The Hitchhiker on 3D Blu-ray from the boutique label that has never gotten a single mention on this site or others. Well, I think we have mentioned that disc, but I mean, we're not really a site, but the site in question is, if people want to know what it is, I will look because I want to make sure. The Hitchhiker 3D, let's see. The company that released it is, in fact, as I'm looking at the cover, and I don't even know what site released it. Plano. The Plano, or Plan D. Not Plano, Plan D. You know what? We have never mentioned this disc on the site, and you're correct. I have never seen this disc before, now that I'm looking at it. So I am incorrect. I stand corrected. Plan D.
But it's an official release.
It is an official release, yes. And it is from Plan D. I don't even know this label. I've never seen this disc before in my life.
Yeah. Okay.
They also did Horror Express. Now, this is really interesting. They've done, now, okay, Alfred Hitchcock's Blackmail, Bucket of Blood, Invasion of the Saucer Men. Now, that's quite interesting. So somebody wants to be mentioned. I would say, because we're fans of 3D, how interesting. I would be curious, are these movies that are in the public domain? So somebody got a hold of them and was able to convert them. I don't know. Now I'm interested about this company. I love Invasion of the Saucer Men. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's look it up. Let's use the newfangled contraption, Plan D home video. Let's see what they say. Let's see. Let's see. Plan D.
Can't remember the
Plan D video on Amazon Live.
Blu-ray.com.
What is Plan D on Amazon Live? I'm looking here. Plan D video. No, that's not that. Well, you know what? Here's why we haven't mentioned it, because it's hard to find. I don't know what Plan D home video.
That's 3D.
3D movies. Oh, okay. Hang on. Now, apparently, the company is called iPop 3D. See, now I have to look.
I read it here in the live chat from Joe HH. He says iPop 3D. They are great.
I found their website. iPop 3D. Handcraft. The senior team has expanded to include Alan Folk and Philip Williams, both highly regarded in the independent 3D conversion community. For inquiries regarding custom conversions, please get in touch. Okay. Online store. Let's see what they got.
Yeah.
Nightmare Castle, House on Haunted Hill, Electric Man 3D, Last Man on Earth 3D. Wow. Horror Express 3D, Carnival of Souls 3D, and Phantom Planet 3D. The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Devil's Hand, Frankenstein's Daughter, His Girl Friday 3D, Superman, the Max Fleischer Superman's 3D conversions. And then they have Plan D. Those are special titles. Well, okay, I'm not sure. Like, this seems to be a homemade kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
You know, I'd love to know more about it. So, you're absolutely right.
Homemade conversions.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. Is it
It's
a
probably
boutique?
why they never showed up in
I mean,
normal size.
because they're not an official label. It's more of a fan-produced thing, which I understand. There's no way we would have known that because nobody's sending us.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know. And, so there you go. Major Chai Chai says, what is the next poster drop on the eBay store? So for those of you who don't know, I have been doing... I was able to obtain a uncirculated stash of National Screen Service Corporation movie posters. There are thousands of items, and over the last couple weeks, we started with Streisand just to populate the store, Barbra Streisand movies. We then did our horror drop and began horror. We have mostly it's buy it now prices, but then there are certain really special items that we're auctioning off. This week we did Star Wars and science fiction. which has been great. And next week we're doing James Bond.
Ooh.
And there's some choice pieces in that. There's a Live and Let Die 6 sheet, which is 81 inches by 81 inches, which you don't see very often. And and then the week after, with the release of He-Man, we're doing fantasy.
Yeah.
So we are doing that. So that is the next poster drop.
Nice.
Let's stop right there, and let's hold off before we do any more. There is more super chats, but let's go to you to do your next list of discs.
Okay, there are not that many left, but okay, here we go. I've got from the UK, from Studio Canal, and I don't remember. Oh, now I remember, Rob, the movie that you saw in theaters from the same director. Here is Hell or High Water in 4K from Studio Canal, so nothing to it, just an MRA. Oh, I totally forgot the cellophane. So it seems that it's just a Blu-ray, not just a 4K, not containing the Blu-ray, but it contains all the special features with it. And I think it was the movie Fuse that Rob mentioned from the same director. Hell or High Water. Then the next one, I remember Rob having a blast in the theater, which rarely happens these days. And I had a blast too. Finally, I've seen it. I've got the 4K and Blu-ray for cold storage. What a blast. Total great B movie, midnight movie. I had great fun with it. It's the Blu-ray and the 4K. Luckily with reversible cover artwork. The only drawback, which has actually nothing to do with the movie, is more the look of the film. It looks pretty modern, digital, no crane structure. So, but considering the movie, I would have loved to have it a little bit more of a filmic look. But other than that, great movie, and like normal, or They Will Kill You, another box office flop that is actually pretty dope. Cold storage. Then the next one I remember, Rob, was not a big fan at the theater. I haven't seen it yet. This is the German media book of We Bury the Dead, Daisy Ridley. I haven't seen it yet, so we got the 4K and the Blu-ray in the back, and of course the media book part. And I hear it's more like a slow burn, but I haven't seen it. So Zombie Apocalypse is on us in the Dead, but haven't seen it. So media book from, I think is it Cable Light? Let me just see. Or was it Play On? No, it's Cable Light. So We Bury the Dead. Then I have two left, and I have talked about at the beginning of the show that Rob will lose all his respect for me.
I won't.
The little that is left.
I have great respect for you.
Because I was not a fan of this movie. And unfortunately, I don't hear what Max is saying. Dietz, don't buy a movie if you don't like it. I purchased this because I will give it a second watch. And I know Rob had a great time at the theater with water sprinkling down his face with the 40X. But for me, this was actually a little bit disappointing.
What?
I got sent help. Yeah, Rob, it was.
Come on, dude.
Rob, let Rachel McAdams be a normal businesswoman at the beginning. Not that already she's cuckoo in her head. She could have been a normal businesswoman getting pushed to the side, but not that crazy that crazy dame. So for me, no. And then later, hey, look at me. I'm building a raft under your nose. You didn't even notice it. Well, okay. Hey, let me puke on you. Not once, but thrice. So for me, I will give it a second watch. And there's some bonus features on it. But for me, this was actually one of the disappointments of the year. So really didn't care for it. Especially and there was a problem. I did read about the ending. I got spoiled the ending, and of course I was completely thinking of Triangle of Sadness immediately. So I thought, okay, and I've gotten the ending already, so the movie got a little bit spoiled for me. But the bigger one, I was really looking forward to watching this movie again. Everyone is raving about it. Gotten a 4K finally. Rob saw it in theaters. They showed it again at the Shine Theater in IMAX. And I was thinking, okay, when I saw the movie back 15, 16 years ago from the first Blu-ray, I wasn't a big fan of it, okay, but perhaps I've overlooked the masterpiece from back in the day to give it a second watch. And I didn't. No, my opinion hasn't changed. For me, this is still not good. Speed Racer.
Oh, you are a heathen.
Yeah, you lost all respect for me. But the Steelbook is at least shiny enough, so I will keep this movie. But for me, considering Speed Racer, it's
you have to be at a certain movie. Intellectual level to appreciate
which I don't have, Rob. I get that, Rob.
You know,
it is a very unique movie, and for me, it's better a movie has a love and hate relationship with the audience. Some love it, some hate it, instead of being just like Mando, a flat line. So this is very specific. The transfer is great. It has his own style, but considering Rob, this is the anti-verisimilitude movie, which cranked up the whimsical to 11. So for me, this still doesn't work. I couldn't even follow any of those race scenes. What the hell is happening here? So for me, the Steelbook is enough because I already had pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, but after seeing it again...
By the way, the Ultimate Edition has been delayed till the end of the year.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So for me, this is fine. Steelbook is great, looks great. The 4K is top-notch considering the transfer, but this is a very specific movie. I still couldn't get into it, Rob. I tried with the second watch.
It's okay. As I said, it needs intellectual capacity that, you know.
Yeah, I don't have that, Rob, to see what Speed Racer is up.
Have another shark movie.
Yeah, I know, Rob. I know. I pre-ordered Deepwater, Rob. It's pre-ordered. But we balance each other out this way, Rob. You know?
It's true. That's why people watch. That's why they tune in.
Yeah. So for me, Speed Racer, I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Is that the end of your stuff?
Yeah, career. Yeah, that's the end, Rob.
Okay, I still got some good stuff coming.
Oh, nice.
From Warner Archive, another 4K disc of an incredible movie. The documentary George Stevens, A Filmmaker's Journey, by his son. And of course, you know, George Stevens is just an incredible. He made Gunga Din, A Place in the Sun, Shane, and the James Dean movie Giant. And this documentary is incredible. And of course, this is a Warner Archive title. It comes with a great O-ring, and it's great to have this in 4K. Really cool. Nice. Really great movie. Go Warner Archive. You go, George Feltenstein. No matter what happens with this merger, they are going strong over there. Now, this is a really cool title. This comes to us from Sony.
Go full frame, Rob.
What's that?
Go full frame. Go full frame.
Oh yes. I will go full frame. This is a great title to have. If you're a Woody Allen fan, early Woody Allen. Sony, Columbia, has released Woody Allen's The Front in 4K. This is something that kind of was a surprise. Now, this deals with the blacklist, writers in the blacklist during the Red Scare. And really happy to have this. Great new 4K disc. Again, Zara Mostel's in this movie. along with Woody Allen, and I think this is a terrific film. If you've never seen it, it's kind of a change of pace for those who don't know Woody Allen's work. But this is both a comedy, but it also deals with a dark period of time in American history. Hollywood history. Now, those of you who've watched this channel know that my absolute favorite boutique label in all of the world is Second Sight. So I've been buying Second Sight discs. My first Second Sight purchase, I want to say, was back in 2012 when they put out Jean-Jacques Benet's Betty Blue, and they did the long version, which you couldn't get. It was years before Criterion put one out. But I have loved Second Sight, and they're not a big label, but they've really they do a lot of highbrow stuff, but they specialize in horror. Well, and yes, people will ask, Rob, have you managed to get the Second Sight Possession disc? No. That's going to cost me $250, $300 on the secondary market. I have not had $250 or $300 to spend on a piece of physical media. Maybe if the poster sales do well, I will be availing myself of that Possession disc.
I was actually, Rob, I was actually didn't expect that this box set would sell out, considering the movie's a little bit...
Well, it's been available for a while, but, I mean, look, Second Sight, that box set is amazing. I still need to get it. But you know what? I got a box from them. I got a box from Second Sight. And Dieter, first of all, you're going to love that. You're going to love that I got this. Now, first of all, The Ugly Stepsister from Second Sight. This movie it's a banger. But look at this.
You've seen it, Rob. You have seen it now.
I've seen it finally, yes. Look at this cover.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Second Sight they're like the college professors that are great, you know? So I won't go through the whole thing, but Second Sight will always give you cards, you know, art cards. They, by far, nobody does better booklets of essays. First of all, chonky. The essays and the writing that they have, I mean, these things are heavy. And they're the best in the business. There's everything, storyboards. I mean, this stuff. And then, of course, you get a digipack of the movie. I say Diggy.
I was never expecting the movie getting an Academy Award nomination for makeup. Never expected that.
Oop. No. Oh, no. I just dropped the disc.
But Protective Layer should be fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It fell different. But so The Ugly Stepsister, Second Sight,
awesome.
That was awesome. And you know,
I love the score. Awesome movie.
It's actually great. It's a truly great film. It really is a great film.
Yeah.
And the fact that Second Sight did it,
it shows you what you can do with a known property, Rob, in the horror genre. You know?
Oh yeah, and you know, God bless them. And I have to say that one of the things that their Hitcher disc is amazing. And like I said, I liked It Follows more after I watched their transfer.
Yeah.
Then the next disc I got from them, because I didn't just get one, I got the original Insomnia with Stellan Skarsgård. And of course, same deal, you know, and of course, Christopher Nolan remade this movie.
Yeah.
But detective thriller, Norwegian.
Is the remake actually pretty close to the original, Rob?
It's pretty close.
I've never seen the original. Okay.
But and then of course, I mean, I love the artwork. I even love.
Yeah.
I love the smell of wherever. I just it's everything about this. Just the best. Again, another incredible booklet. They have all new art made for this stuff, so there's an art card and all that. So got that.
Nice.
And but wait, there's more. And then a surprise. It's always surprising what they want to do. The Devil's Candy.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And again,
I think I have that on pre-order, but there's probably missing. and didn't have
Yeah.
sent it out.
So, yeah, you gotta love that. Anytime you see an upside down cross, you know you're in for some fun. But again, you know, if you like this film, this is actually a really interesting movie, and happy to have it. Happy to have gotten it.
I think I could be wrong. It was from the director who did The Loved Ones.
Yeah,
The
it was.
Australian-
Yeah, it is. Another great movie.
Yeah.
So that ends my discs of the week. And if anyone knows where I can get that Possession box set, hey, that's and the reason, of course, Second Sight, I love them so much. Remember, it's always about the movie, and no one curates their transfers better. I mean, who puts up when Second Sight was doing The Hitcher? It's funny. I talked to George Feltenstein when that was first going on, The Hitcher, and George was not very familiar with Second Sight. And I said, no, dude, they're the best. Now, when I say this is not to take away from like Severin or Vinegar Syndrome or Criterion or anything like that. But Second Sight is, it is what it is, and it's the creme de la creme. It's the best.
And Rob, you always get the option. Do you want the box set or just the regular?
Yep.
The movie, most important thing, you know.
Yep.
You don't have to get always the big, more expensive box set. You can
And
always
they're
choose,
amazing,
go for
and you know, labor of love. I love them so much. But remember, when it comes to them, the transfer is the thing, and their transfers. And the reason that I fell in love with them is, of course, because of their box set of Dawn of the Dead, the greatest thing ever, and Martin, to be honest.
Holy Grail.
Holy
Grail.
So good. But anyway, there you go. That's my picks of the week. And now we've got some 1001 Johnny celebrates 35 months of membership, and he says, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. I assume this is old news, but 3 weeks ago I finally got the Blu-ray for Albert Pune's Captain America. It was such a delightful watch." Congratulations. Jurassic Joey 17 celebrates 25 months of membership. And Louis Feliciano says Batman 1966. It's the 60th anniversary. Are we going to get a 4K? I don't know. That'd be a great movie to get in 4K, too. That would look fantastic. Again, I believe that's 20th Century Fox. And who knows if we'll get anything from them. Yeah. So, I don't know. So, Dietz.
Yeah.
There we go.
Your choice, Rob. News or live chat first?
Why don't we do news? News?
It's coming down, Rob.
Lionsgate announced, and again, another self-serving news story.
Before your fun question, I am interested.
This is the headline. The headline story. David Twohy's The Arrival is being released as a 4K, the second 4K. The first was The Substitute, as part of Lionsgate's Vestron Video ongoing collection of the movie The Arrival. By the way, I really do like this cover art. The Arrival is a great alien invasion movie from the mid-'90s, and if you go to the Lionsgate website and you click on Lionsgate Limited website, I wrote an essay about this movie, which is also an apology to director David Twohy for an interview I did with him about this when the movie was coming out.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's The Arrival.
Help me, Rob. Wasn't there a great Laserdisc back in the day for The Arrival?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this has had many great physical media releases.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, so I can't wait to get this in 4K. And if you go to the Lionsgate Limited website and you click on this, scroll all the way down, and you can read my essay about it, which I talk about watching movies at scale and comparing movies to golf, believe it or not. Yeah. So check that out. Then we have Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. And this is coming out in 4K. And
Ooh.
There you go.
Set, Rob. Three disc set. Okay.
Can you believe it? I mean, people love Talladega Nights.
Oh, okay.
And then Criterion has announced their latest, and here they are. James Gray's Little Odessa. This is actually a really good movie. Yeah. That's coming out, so that's exciting. And James Gray just had a film at Cannes. I think it's called, the Cannes movie is called Paper Tiger, I think. And he was just speaking at Cannes on that. And these are their releases in August. And then we have, I'm going to mispronounce this because it's French, and I should know how to speak French, but I don't. Coup d'État. This existential crime thriller, legend of French cinema, Bertrand Tavernier transforms Jim Thompson's hard-boiled novel, Population 1280, into a darkly comic, philosophically provocative exploration of the brutality and absurdity of colonialism. And they move the story from the American South to 1930s French West Africa. This is actually a great, great movie. So it's cool to get that in 4K. Then we have Barbara Koppel, one of two movies of hers. And this was winner of the Best Documentary Oscar. Barbara Koppel's American Dream details the tumultuous 1985-86 labor strike against Hormel Foods in Austin, Minnesota. And I actually seen this documentary. It's great. And also another documentary that also won the Oscar, Harlan County, USA. Unflinching documentary of a coal miners' strike in a small Kentucky town with unprecedented access. Koppel and her crew captured the miners' sometimes violent struggles with strike breakers, local police, and company thugs. With a haunting soundtrack featuring legendary country and bluegrass artists Hazel Dickens, Merle Travis, David Morris, Sarah Ogan Gunning, and Florence Reese, the film is a heartbreaking record of the 13-month struggle between a community fighting to survive and a corporation dedicated to the bottom line. And then we have Todd Haynes' vaguely science fiction horror film, Safe, where Julianne Moore plays a woman who is poisoned by existing in the modern age. I love this. I love this movie. It's vaguely based on a true story. And she can't get a clear diagnosis, but she believes she has environmental allergies because our world is so polluted. So really always liked that movie, and it's great, and we're getting that. And then finally, we get a new release of the Eclipse Series 49, 5 radical documentaries by Kazuhara and Sachiko Kobayashi. Shocking, confrontational, and made with white-hot fury, these radical documentaries, directed by Kazuhara and produced by his wife and longtime creative partner Sachiko Kobayashi, give voice to the outsiders and iconoclasts who wage war against the conformism of modern Japanese society. From a woman willing to risk everything on her journey towards personal and sexual liberation, Extreme Private Eros Love Song 1974, to a man whose quest to expose Japanese wartime atrocities borders on madness, The Emperor's Naked Army Marches On. The unforgettable subjects of these films are invited to be collaborators in Hara and Kobayashi's process, resulting in works of unmatched power and immediacy. So there's 5 documentaries in this set. So that's cool. Then, for a change of pace, Deets, Death Warrant in 4K, coming from MVD, also coming in Blu-ray if you want it. But hey, would you be buying this?
I have to think. I own the movie already, but not in 4K, Rob. And I think this is one of the better ones with Jean-Claude.
Yeah, why not? Era. What's not to love?
Yeah.
And then we have another set of film noir, The Dark Side of Cinema. This is film noir number 27, box 27. There's always good stuff in these boxes, all the way from Kino Lorber, so that's cool. Then MVD is also putting out Troll. You know, because God knows we need more of this in our lives. But hey, it's coming out for those fans of the film.
We are at that point, Rob, where we get those movies.
It's true, and we're getting any. You want it? Hey, where's Tough Turf in 4K?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know. Then I am very excited about this. Vinegar Syndrome's sub-label, Cinematograph, is putting out The Boys in the Band. This is a gay-themed film, but it's one of the early movies directed by William Friedkin. I've never owned this movie. I really like this label, you know, the sub-label of Vinegar Syndrome. They do a great job, and really exciting to get this. I'm very excited to get this movie because it's the film I know the least about. And
was this one of his first movies, Rob?
Yes, it's one of his first features after he was making documentaries. Yeah. So I'm very excited about this. Now, this is interesting. This next one is Strictly Ballroom. I love this movie. This is the first of Baz Luhrmann's, what is it called? Red Curtain Trilogy. The Red Curtain Trilogy.
Oh, okay.
And this is in 4K for the first time. This is coming from Visions Home Video. Vertigo Releasing's recently launched home video sub-label. And they're doing a 4K and Blu-ray releases of the new 4K restoration of Strictly Ballroom. You know, I had a box set of this. It's interesting that this Vertigo Releasing has this.
Yeah.
So part mockumentary, part fairy tale. Strictly Ballroom is one of the most popular Australian films ever made and kicks off Luhrmann's incredible... Oh, it's the Red Carpet Trilogy, not the Red Curtain Trilogy. You know what? That might be wrong. It's not Red Carpet. It's Red Curtain. I think, not Red Carpet. I think you guys are wrong. It
looks like a red curtain here in the
I know, that's why it's not Red Carpet, it's Red Curtain. And then we have the Aesthetics of a Bullet coming to us from Radiance. And this is Sadako Nakajima's Aesthetics of a Bullet from 1973. So, hey, there you go. I mean, I'm in. And then we have The Love That Remains. This is coming from Curzon, and they'll release on Blu-ray this film that comes to us from 2025. And
I will not try to pronounce the director's name, Rob.
Bro, I can't even.
Linur Palmeson.
It's his follow-up to Godland. It's a poignant contemporary study of the bittersweet nature of faded love and shared memories amidst the changing seasons. And this is from Iceland. One day, my dream one day, Dietz, is to go to I have two dreams. One, to come to Germany to see you, and I've always wanted to go to Reykjavik. So there you go. And then we are getting this. This is an amazing box set. I Love Lucy, the complete series on Blu-ray for the 75th anniversary. Amazing. So there you go. Amazing.
From Paramount themselves. Ooh,
yep,
okay.
From Paramount themselves, CBS Paramount. Yep. And then we have Indicator Powerhouse's releases. Buffet Freud. I don't know much about Buffet Freud, but this is it's too farcical to be a thriller, yet too surreal to be a farce. Bertrand Blier's wonderfully absurd Buffet Freud follows Alphonse Tam, played by Gerard Depardieu, an unemployed man who befriends anyone who will listen to him before often murdering them by mistake. So there you go. I'm in. Count me in.
Okay.
Sounds good. Then we have Merci la Vie. What is Merci la Vie? I don't know. But it's Charlotte Gainsbourg from Nymphomaniac and Anouk Grinberg, the night of the 12th, take a surreal road trip in Merci la Vie, an outrageous, absurdist satire from acclaimed auteur Bertrand Blier, who made Femme Fatales. So, hey, there you go. Don't know anything about it, but if Indicator puts out, it's going to look and sound good. Then we have a movie called French Dressing that stars Melissa Mel from Diabolic. So what's not to love there? Part romantic comedy, part slapstick, and easily the most British film to ever have French in its title. One maverick Ken Russell's feature debut. Wait, cinematic This is Ken Russell's feature debut. French dressing. Wow, I've got to get that, I guess. So there you go. All kinds of special features in this. So, hey, it's Ken Russell. Got to get that. Then we have Kino Lorber putting out Wes Craven's Deadly Blessing. That's a fun film, worth getting. Okay. Then we have a movie called Blood Relatives. Now, I don't know much about Blood Relatives, but Shudder. This is a Shudder release. And this is from 2022. And Francois, a 115-year-old Yiddish vampire, still looks 35. He's been roaming America in back roads in his beat-up muscle car for decades, keeping to himself and liking it that way. One day, a teenage kid, Jane, shows up. She says she's his daughter, and she's got the fangs to prove it. They go on the road, deciding whether or not to sink their teeth into family life. I'd watch that. Sounds good to me. Now, here's something that I know everybody is waiting for, especially you, Dieter. The 40th anniversary of Howard the Duck. So,
not really.
You know,
really.
Oh, come on. You don't want Howard the Duck, the 40th anniversary steelbook? Well, it looks like if you're a fan of this movie.
Rob, in all honesty, I've never seen Howard the Duck. Never.
It's okay. You're a better man for it. If only they would have gone back to the comic, Steve Gerber's comic. Oh, well. Then we have California Schemin', and now I wanted to see this. James McAvoy directed this movie, and this is actually based on a true story. It follows two aspiring Scottish MCs, meaning DJs, and, you know, literally rappers, who devise an audacious scheme to achieve their dream of a record deal by posing as California hip-hop artists. As fame beckons and the lies pile up, their friendship is put to the test. I saw the trailer for this, and it looked great. So I haven't seen it, but it is James McAvoy. Then we have Animal Farm. This is Andy Serkis's long gestating adaptation of George Orwell's seminal novel.
Abysmal reviews.
Bad reviews, and which is too bad. And it is too bad, and an incredible voice cast. So Andy Serkis can't win them all. And then Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney and Anyone But You on 4K. They only look like the perfect couple.
Some time, but here it is.
You know, there it is. And if that's what you want, well, then that's what you should have. And who am I to say no?
Big box office hit.
And next we have Joseph Kane's The Maverick Queen from 1956. Kino Lorber's putting this out. Barbara Stanwyck. So, you know, is she a Maverick Queen? She looks pretty maverick to me. So nothing wrong with that. And then not to be outdone, we've got South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut coming out in a steelbook in 4K.
The question only is, Rob, do we need South Park in 4K?
Hey, somebody must. Then we have Ip Man, IP Man, the Ip Man himself. Wellgo USA is gonna release this from 2025, starring Dennis Toe and all the other ne'er-do-wells that are in this movie.
They don't stop making those Ip Man movies.
They certainly don't. Hey, Wong Kar-wai made the Grandmaster about Ip Man, so that was cool. Sweet Movie is coming out. Transgressive Visions, a new partner label of Camera Obscura, will release on 4K Blu-ray. Dusan, I can't pronounce his name, the absurdist film Sweet Movie from 1974. And pretty cool. Pushing his themes of sexual liberation to their boiling point. Yugoslavian art house provocateur Dusan Makav followed his international sensation WR Mysteries of the Organism with this full-throated shriek in the face of bourgeois complacency in movie watching. Sweet Movie tackles the limits of personal and political freedom with a kaleidoscopic feverishness, shuttling viewers from a gynecological beauty pageant to a grotesque food orgy with scatological taboo-shattering glee. With its lewd abandon and sketch comedy perversity, Sweet Movie became both a cult staple and an exemplar of envelope-pushing 1970s cinema. Oh, I'll get this. Why not? Sounds good to me. Then, of course, we have Martin Scorsese's New York, New York coming out on 4K. And this is MDV, believe it or not. They're putting this out too. So that's cool. Then Luc Besson's Joan of Arc is coming out as a separate individual 4K release, Steelbook. So we've got that. And then we have, which is cheeky in video label packaging, Mickey and Maude, which is Blake Edwards, a late Blake Edwards film. So that's kind of fun. And Alliance Entertainment is putting this out. And then it's a series of movies. Then Alliance Entertainment is putting out Relentless with with Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club and Leo Rossi and Meg Foster. So it's their part of their retro VHS line, as is I meant to go this way, as is this. So that's cool. And then we have Amelie, the 25th anniversary edition with all of this swag. Remember, Amelie can never be in 4K because it was finished with its very extensive digital grade in 2K. So there you go. I definitely want to get this because it's a favorite movie of mine. And now to the charts. We have the Blu-ray discs, top 10. It, Welcome to Derry. Goat, the animated film. I Can Only Imagine 2. Wuthering Heights. Dracula, Alice in Wonderland. Shelter, Top Gun. What is this? Over the Garden Wall, and of course, Greenland 2 Migration. And now we go into, these are small because I'm far away from the screen. The 4Ks are Welcome to Derry, Alice in Wonderland, Top Gun, Wuthering Heights, Goat, It Came from Outer Space. Ooh, I gotta get that. Wicked for Good, Send Help, Akira. Ooh, Akira's in the top 10. And Apollo 13. So there you go, Dietz. That's all the news that is fit to print.
Okay. Nice to know. But I didn't even know that over the wall thing. Never heard of that cartoon.
Yeah, me
was
neither.
The number 9 on that. And we had Benjo Sandwich in the live chat said it is curtain, Rob, not carpet. You know.
See, I was right.
Yeah, you're right.
And the press release was wrong. See, I would never make that mistake, and nor did I. Let me just check before we move on to that. I want to move on to the chat, see what we got here. Louis Feliciano says, do you know Shout Factory is making a 4K for Black Christmas, the 2006 remake? Is it an underrated movie? I don't know if it's an underrated movie. I don't know if they're. I really don't know.
I quite enjoy Black Christmas from 2006, but considering a 4K, it is from that era. It's probably a 2K master, probably shot digitally, I would assume, and you can get it at least on Blu-ray. You can get the movie Black Christmas from 2006.
Yep.
Even as an unrated version, but considering a 4K, I've not heard anything yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's more of a little bit of a niche cult following, I would say it has.
And we are caught up, so I'm gonna give it over to you.
Okay. Yeah. So take a short break, Rob, and I say previously on Let's Get Physical Media, but full transparency, I was a little bit of a slacker this week. I didn't get through the full show. I'm missing the last half hour, but if there is something in the last half hour, I will bring it up next week. But what I gathered from last week, Matt 1372, Obsession is the movie of the year, one of the best horror movies of the 2020s. Okay. Striker Gray, it was my birthday on May 15 too. So
wow,
same day as
happy
Rob.
birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Striker Gray. Dantes 74302. He asked Europe, is that Husker's Viper in the background? I have that one as well. So cool.
Yep, it is.
It is. Okay. Then Return of the Disc. Blue Thunder looks awesome. Yes, it does.
It really
Then
does.
Ruler 6611 says Punisher. We talked a little bit about One Last Kill, was always advertised as a one-shot, which is typically 45 to 50 minutes. Yeah, I didn't dive into it. For me, it was an announcement, and I thought, okay, it's a new series, then a film, and it got shorter and shorter. Indiana Jake, Punisher special was kind of lame. A one-off.
Yeah, I didn't dig it.
One-time watch.
We've seen it all.
Yeah. Dundas 74 301. Considering I got that little bit of trash panda can from Major Chicha, he says, be afraid, DIETER. Be very afraid. She knows where you live now. Speaking of Major Chicha. HV Christadot, I watched Night of the Juggler, very good. We showed it on the show, the TX set of this movie, which got a little bit under the wayside, but now it's back. Yeah. And Alex Sorba says the same. Night of the Juggler is a sweet box and transfer from Radiant's new TX label. Then Brightstone Pictures, our famous director Eric Van Schorf of Hope and Glory was in the live chat. He says, hello everyone, the Sheep Detectives is good. The whole audience was into it, and even 8-year-olds stayed quiet and were into the mystery. And oh my God, was it emotional. Like you said, Rob, it can be for kids. No?
Yeah.
Unlike that other movie. Adventure Square, we talked a little bit about Stone Cold. And he says, Stone Cold is red hot action fair.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He knows what's up.
Indiana Jake. Yeah. Indiana Jake, I finally watched To Live and Die in LA a couple of months ago. And he says, all your movie recommendations are top-notch, Rob.
I would never steer you wrong. And if I did steer you wrong, it's your fault.
HV Sweet Christadot. Anyone see Mermaid Legend? One of the best revenge thrillers I've ever seen. Unfortunately not. It's somewhere in the pile here lying around, but I didn't get around to it. But I have bought the movie. The Alex Sorba, I have to make a physical media confession. I bought the Dollars Trilogy box from Arrow for the pointless triple dip. I am a very sick man, and you can park your shuttlecraft with us in the same shuttle bay.
Hell yeah.
Then we had a little bit of kerfuffle considering Clue, or people were chiming in considering the movie Clue. Indiana Jake, I love Clue. HV Christadot, the movie Clue is great. And Adventure Square, Clue is gold tier comedy. And Justin Toner, I love Clue, not sorry. And Indiana Jake, Tim Curry is the GOAT. And Danzig, 1979, because that other movie came up too. Whoa, that's just wrong. Goonies, never say die. Indiana Jake, everyone is allowed a couple of hot takes. Saying Goonies is bad is a very hot taker.
No, it's not.
The Alex Sorba. The Alex Sorba. I pre-ordered some Iron Maiden documentary, Burning Ambition steelbook, not knowing anything about it. I haven't seen it, but I heard good things about it. Even played in the theater. They even showed it here in my little small town of Saarbrücken, in the biggest venue that we have, actually. Justin Toner. There are movies I enjoy that I know are not good, but I enjoy them anyway. That's what's called guilty pleasure. That's the definition of it. HV Christadot. Dr. No is a bit dated. I really like From Russia with Love, because Rob had the audacity to say to Max, don't start with Dr. No. Probably this is a little bit dated, but Max said, no, I will start with Dr. No. And people chimed in. The Alex Sorba says, when I was 8, Dr. No was my first, and I was hooked. So hopefully it is the same with Max's grandson. Brian Knight, if Max is willing, bring his grandson onto the show and review Dr. No movie in person.
I'd love
would be
that.
Really thrilling. And Brightstone Pictures, Eric Van Schor, director of Hope and Glory 6. Thanks for your recommendation, Max. And he continued, what a cliffhanger, Rob and Max, way to go. Speaking of, what did your grandson thought of Dr. No? That was the cliffhanger, actually, from last week. That we didn't resolve, hopefully in the future. Benjo Sandwich, what number do you get if you add up both ages of Rob and Dietz? You have to find out for yourself. H.V. Christodot, Moonraker is peak cheese. And then since 1979, nobody puts Moonraker in the corner.
That's right.
And Rulat, 6611, I'm with Max on showing his grandson, Dr. No, first. Then H.V. Christodot, not a big Maggie Q fan though. Let me think about that. Not a big Maggie Q fan. You deserved the buzzer for that. Wannabe comedy? Hey Rob, met you before Mortal Kombat in Irvine. Pleasure meeting you. So you met someone of the community.
Yeah, I always run into people down there. It's great.
Yeah. And this was the last one, Rob. This was the last one, Rob. From the live chat.
All right.
Last week.
Well, this was, there we go.
Here we go.
Brings us to the end.
I think this brings us to the end. Nice for people who showed up again to watch our little bit of kerfuffle considering physical media. And we will be, hopefully we'll be back. Max will not be back next week.
Max will not be back next week. Richard Curtis has he's been an imagination connoisseur for 16 months. Thank you, Richard Curtis. And Big Disc Energy asks if we have any thoughts on the new Faces of Death. They like.
I haven't seen it yet, Rob.
I haven't either, but it sounded interesting to me. We almost went and saw it, and I like the premise. That it's about somebody who's looking at online videos, deciding whether they should be allowed to go online or not. And
so the setup sounds actually pretty interesting. But I remember, Rob, the original one being a big no-no back in the 80s. Video nasty, Rob.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah. Much so.
So we're all good. I mean, we'll be back next week, obviously. I'll have some more discs, I think, more Warner Archive discs and stuff like that. But, and I just wanted to say if anyone's interested in the large drop of national screen. So, as I've told people before, up until about the mid-'80s, the National Screen Service Corporation printed all movie posters and movie advertising material for all the studios. And a friend of mine used to work at National Screen, and when they closed the Seattle office, he took thousands of movie posters and all different sizes, regular movie posters that are 1 sheets, half sheets, inserts, 3 sheets, which are 41 inches by 81 inches, lobby card sets, which are lobby card sets that come in sets of 8. They don't make those anymore because when movie houses turned into multiplexes, they didn't need them. So I've been after him for literally 40 years to give me this cache of stuff, and we're selling it and auctioning it off. And over the course of the next couple months, every Friday, we're going to drop new items. So coming up next week is James Bond. Then the week after is fantasy. Then Alfred Hitchcock. Then 70s classics, 60s classics. And we just keep dropping them. So if you've ever wanted certain movie posters, these are all original, and most of them are folded until we get into the later 80s. But movie posters were folded. That's how they came for the most part. And so what collectors do, I mean, these are actual real movie posters that were sent to theaters, and there aren't very many of them left, to be honest. And these are uncirculated, so they're all in great shape. People, what you do is usually you get them mounted to linen, like literally a piece of cloth, using companies that do it turn the paper inert. They bleach the acid out of the paper. They mount it to linen, which gets rid of the creases, and then it makes it available for framing, and it's archival, so your next of kin can keep it or sell it. But if you go to Find Your Niche on eBay, Find Your Niche, and look for the sub-store, RMB's Imagination Connoisseurs. Right now, there's about 300 items up for sale, and then every week we're going to drop more. So, there you go.
Get yours today, as fast as possible.
Yep. There's all kinds of stuff up
there.
What
I got?
Yeah. So that's it.
And let me just see here. Big Dis Energy says, I recommend seeing the new Face of Death. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I haven't gotten around to it. So, on my end, Rob, as always, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. By the way, I also want to give a shout out to Douglas Pratt. Douglas Pratt, who publishes the Laserdisc and DVD newsletter. He kept the title. He's been publishing it since the 80s, and he does some great writing on film. He covers, like we do, all the new stuff that's coming out, but he writes really extensive reviews, and he combines his great historical knowledge with film history with these reviews. So you can go subscribe to his newsletter. I highly recommend it, the Laserdisc and DVD newsletter. He kept that throwback title. But Douglas Pratt,
That's
look
great.
him up, go subscribe, give him the love, because he certainly deserves it. So there you go. And we'll say goodbye to everybody. I want to thank our great moderating staff, Lord Toth, Tom Jr. Jackson, everybody else, and thanks for all your support and supporting this channel.
And of course, we're looking forward on Observations when he dives in to real Mandalorian.
Tomorrow night, which is actual
he already did here.
Tomorrow is actual Star Wars Day, May 25th.
Yeah.
And I think I might be doing our observations tonight as well. I don't know, but I probably will.
Yeah. And then we will hear Rob doing even more of a deep dive than he did on Let's Get Physical Media.
Yep. That's true. And on that note, everybody, thanks for being here.
Boys and girls, see you next week.